Ready. Okay, let's get rock and rolling. Hello, car project enthusiasts. Thanks for listening. This is Untitled Car Project, show 39. I'm Rob Spring.
Jeremy Molt.
And Grant will be along shortly. He's running late today, and we got to get going. Today on the show, we're going to have Tom Suddard from Grassroots Motorsports. That is the magazine we talked about, 3 or 4 episodes ago.
I think we've talked about it a couple times.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're pretty big in, obviously, the grassroots, the project car thing. They deal more with racing and rebuilding and projects, and rather than, a lot of the new magazines and a lot of stuff out there focuses on all the glitz and glam of the brand new stuff. And we don't want to do that. We want to focus on the glitz and glam of the rusty shit.
Yeah.
The stuff you drag out of the field and put in your garage for 5 years and try to work on it.
The rusty shit, the fast shit.
Yeah, well, I can't say that the new stuff isn't fast.
No, it's not. I mean, no, it is. Yeah, it is fast.
It is fast.
However, do you feel as good about sending something that's new?
Not so much.
Right.
I mean,
a little bit in a straight line,
maybe.
maybe.
Bit. It depends. Like, driving the McLaren is no joke. It's a good time. That's fun. But you also don't work on that as much.
That's right.
So, working on it, taking it out, racing it.
You'd feel like a real asshole putting it into a wall, too.
That's where the good time is. Well, I'd feel like an asshole putting my Corvette in a wall, too.
Yeah, that's true.
So, all right, let's give Tom a ring. I think he's ready to go.
Well, that's ringing.
Yeah.
Were you taking bets on how loud?
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail. The person you're...
That was really loud. I can turn it down.
That was loud. I can turn it down also if you want.
I got it here. Actually, he didn't say which line to ring him on.
This mailbox is not currently accepting messages.
So did you write the voicemail? He didn't really want to do the show.
He answered my text. All right.
Just tell him straight to voicemail. Maybe you should call me.
I'm going to try one more time.
Call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Oh, my
the
goodness.
Person you're trying...
Okay. We're going to go ahead and edit that out.
Nope. Going to leave it. This is what you're doing to me, Tom.
Yeah.
All right.
All our fans are going to know.
I mean, I didn't say his number over the air, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Straight to voicemail.
All of our fan is going to know.
Every one of them. Every single
one
fan.
Something that popped up today.
Mm-hmm.
A 40-year-old Nissan, 4-decade-old. I don't know if it's actually 40 or a little older.
Okay.
Nissan pickup. Diesel.
A diesel. Cool.
And it sparked some curiosity in me.
Yeah.
For a couple reasons. One, the article mentioned how good a fuel mileage it had for being a 4-decade-old truck.
What motor did it have in it?
It's a diesel.
Well, yeah, but is it four-banger?
It's a little four-cylinder.
Okay.
Four-cylinder diesel.
Yeah,
it is
probably
a small pickup.
At least 50 miles a gallon.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And actually, it gets better mileage than a lot of diesel vehicles or vehicles in general.
Oh, absolutely.
Today.
Yeah. I mean, think about like the old diesel Rabbits, the little four-banger.
They got like 45.
Yeah, some in the 50s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would imagine, a little diesel Nissan. I bet that's pretty rare too.
Yeah.
I don't recall hearing a lot about those back in the day.
So I guess there was a lot of car manufacturers that did that in the 70s when we had the fuel crisis.
Yeah.
And the curiosity comes in with muscle cars in general. Mm-hmm. Having to go to a bunch of that smog bullshit and having low horsepower.
There we go.
There he is.
There he is.
We'll continue that later.
We will. Tom, how are you? Oh, where's our audio? Can't hear you.
Stand by.
Hold on. We'll figure it out. Oh, there we go. I know what I'm doing. Now I hear you.
Perfect. Sorry about that. My phone thought you were a telemarketer.
Yeah, it sent me.
He kind of is.
Yeah, no doubt. Tom, thanks for joining the show. Appreciate it.
Oh, anytime, of course.
Anytime. You've opened the door now. You heard it.
I like it.
We have witnesses.
Perfect.
New friend of the show. Thanks.
Yeah. That is Jeremy on the other microphone there, and our other co-host Grant will be along shortly. He's running a little late today.
Okay, no problem.
Cool. So we were discussing Grassroots Motorsports. We actually brought it up on the show, I don't know, 3-4 weeks ago was the most recent time, I think. Just talking about, magazines in general and how many are actually left in actual print. I mean, that feels to me, I'm not in the magazine industry, so I don't really know, but from the outsider, it seems like that's a little tougher nowadays.
Yeah, it's it's definitely not as easy as it used to be.
Yeah.
Just everything gets more expensive, paper and printing and all that. But honestly, we're still growing, and it's, we really haven't had some of the challenges that some of the bigger magazines have had.
Oh yeah.
Because we were never really trying to be all things to all people.
Oh,
a lot of the magazines that were going under were, they wanted 1 million subscribers, and they wanted to be in every dentist's office coffee table and that sort of thing. And, we kind of never really chased that giant market and kind of never watered ourselves down to get that.
Okay.
And it's been just paying dividends these days because, the giant 1 million person groups aren't subscribing to magazines anymore. They're on Facebook or elsewhere. So we've kind of just been kind of staying in our niche and doing our thing, and it's been paying off.
Just letting it all come to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. How long have you been with Grassroots?
Pretty much since birth.
Yeah.
So yeah, my parents started it back in the 80s.
Oh, your parents started it.
Yeah. So the story goes, yeah. So back in 1984, my parents were in their early 20s. Mom was an English major, dad business, and started autocrossing. And said, hey, if we started a little magazine, maybe we could pay the bills for a year or two, and then we'd have decent enough resumes. We could go get real jobs. So they got some friends together, and they did, and they're still never went out and got real jobs. So now we're on to the second generation.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
That's freaking cool.
That's the way to do it. Turn something, a passion project into a career. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really kind of my dad's original idea. He was autocrossing a 240Z. And he was like, "Oh, let me learn how to do this. Let me learn a little bit more about sports cars and such. I'll go get some magazines." So we went and bought a couple of the big names from the bookstore because that's how you found info back then.
Yeah.
And they were all like, "Hey, here's how fast your new Ferrari goes, and did you see this Lamborghini and all that kind of stuff?"
Yep.
And he's like, "Well, that doesn't help me with my 240Z at all. I'll just start my own."
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about that too. It's like that whole. Everybody else focuses on the new and shiny and the exotics and the go fast, and which is cool. There's definitely a market for that. We like that stuff.
Definitely, yeah.
But yeah, how do you bring out everybody's project car? Because I think that's really cool. I mean, project cars are a huge industry. When you look at from aftermarket to restoration companies, all of it. I don't know. I think it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and we've always kind of chased, not just people who like cars, but people who actually want to work on their cars. That's always kind of been what set us apart. And, it's, I don't know if you saw the column I wrote a couple months ago. There's basically like Project Car is capital letters here at Grassroots.
Yeah.
That's a real thing. It has a plan. It has goals, all that. And it's kind of been the base of our editorial. I always remember I was talking to I'll say a big aftermarket parts manufacturer, I won't name, and was, talking about an upcoming project and talking about what parts we could use and such. And they said, "Okay, that's great. Media team would love to be a part of this. When do you want to drop it off?"
Yeah.
It's like, what? And they said, "Yeah, well, you said you wanted to put these parts in the car, so when are you going to drop it off?" And I was like, no. We just, we put the parts on. We build the project cars and we write about them. And they were shocked. They had never heard of such a concept. I guess all the other magazines, if they were going to build a car, they would just drop it off at the service center for this company and then pick it back up a week later with the photos shot and the parts installed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, we've always done things a little differently.
No doubt. Yeah, actually, I did read the Project Car, not only the article with that magazine, And that's kind of the one that made me say, hey, I need to reach out to this guy because I think he's got, you know, this is exactly where we're at, is in the project car, you know, genre. So, yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was going to say, what projects are you working on? I'll admit I'm not a frequent listener.
Oh, that's all right. I mean, we we talk about everybody's projects. For myself, I've got a couple of 2007 Corvettes that I autocross and time trial. And then I also have a 67 C10 that is,
nice.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of a longer term project, but that one's coming along. And I recently purchased a 74 C3 Corvette.
Very cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
so my garage is full. Lots of stuff to do. Yeah. And my buddy Grant, he works on predominantly his Mustang. Was it 05?
05 or 07.
Yeah, Mustang. And then he also has a Lamborghini kit car.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a Fiat.
Fiats
Yeah,
and-
forgot about the Fiats.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's deep into the projects as well.
And I'm looking for one.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm
you
looking
really
for one.
span the whole spectrum there between all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's quite a range.
And Ian has God, what is his
IS
car?
300 with LS swap. LS3.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's a drift car.
He's a drifter. Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Don't those have a 2JZ in them originally?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you
I don't
what the original is.
I don't remember if that one did or not. They do
Okay,
come
I'm
with
trying
them,
to-
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was one of
Okay.
them.
Yeah. He's on his
Cool.
second
Cool.
LS motor in that car. Yeah.
Yeah. The fun of racing LSs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he went from a LS1 was the first one, and then he just wanted a little more oomph, so he put the LS3 in it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah. It's
That's
good
awesome.
stuff. So being in the Grassroots Motorsport, you've been through probably every position imaginable working through that company.
Yeah. Yeah. Started literally was working the subscription booth when I was 6 or 8 years old.
Oh, I bet that works
'cause, you know-
good too. Because who doesn't want to sign up for a kid?
Like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
You know, hey, sorry, Daddy's on track right now. Will you buy something from me?
Yeah.
It was great. No, I did that, and then I've kind of rotated through the company ever since.
Yeah.
Just whenever something needed to be done, jump in and do it, and then go on to the next thing.
Have you got a favorite?
It's in a perfect world, I would just stay in the shop, build project cars, and write about them 24/7.
Yeah.
But then sadly, all the other parts of running a business and running a publishing company kind of creep into that. So I don't get as much time to just work purely on editorial as I'd like. Which still I get way more time to do this than any normal person with any normal job. I can't be mad at all. But there's running a business, and there's taxes, and there's dealing with suppliers and all the other fun stuff that anybody else with the company deals with.
Yeah. All the inside stuff that you don't really want to have to do, but you have to do it anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say is like the core philosophy of Grassroots Motorsports? If you have to remind yourself, like, this is what we're all about, try not to stray from that.
Yeah. So a lot of people think that Grassroots is purely a budget thing. Like it is only for cheap crap, basically.
Yeah.
And and that's certainly a huge part of it. But that's we have readers and we have parts of our world with huge 6-figure incomes and fancy cars and that sort of thing. So the core philosophy at GRM is really whatever level you're playing at. You're working on your own stuff.
Yeah.
You're looking for value and you're looking for performance for dollar, and you're not just phoning it in, basically. It's GRM is the antithesis of, call your guy with the transporter, tell him to bring your car to the track, tell him when you can put your helmet on and get in. It's doing it yourself and making it happen.
Yeah. No.
I think I think in some of our marketing stuff it says, built for those who do, not those who dream, and that's kind of where we start from.
I like that. That's yeah.
Yeah, that's solid.
That's a little better than built not bought, even though it's the same kind of
same basic thing.
Yeah. But I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and it's I always joke. I tell everybody, we totally fake it. We just happen to all have our own staff project cars at home and stuff. I mean, even people that aren't at all related to the editorial function of the business have yards full of broken cars and are calling out of work because they got to put an engine in something. So that tells me we're doing something right.
I like it. I mean, that's pretty good. You go to work to build cars, even on the side. Yeah. I mean, it's not every day, but yeah, that's kind of a dream feeling job. Do you ever step back and just like, I've got it pretty good?
Oh yeah. Every day I have to pinch myself. It's awesome. And I've worked other places and I've spent some time at a big company and I would never leave this. It's fantastic.
That's awesome. That's actually really awesome. I would think people would like to hear that. It's like somebody is doing what they want to do. A little bit jealous, but I think that's really cool. Well, I got asked to speak to a bunch of like elementary, middle school kids for a career day by a friend a year or so ago, and I put together a little PowerPoint with this is my job, this is what this looks like, and a kid raised their hand at the end and said, I can't believe you get to do all this and be rich. I was like, no, I never said you'd be rich. I said you'd be happy. Yeah. You guys need to choose. Yeah.
I don't know. That's pretty rich to me.
Yeah. There's a level of it for sure.
Yeah.
Monetarily, maybe not. Yeah. Do you feel like it's, GRM has had an impact on the automotive scene? Like, do you feel like it's built up more of the project level enthusiasm to motorsports?
Yeah, definitely. I would say that GRM over, almost 4 decades now has kind of brought that backyard hot rodder, working on their own cars thing out of just the drag race world and into sports cars and into, kind of the rest of the automotive community. And I think it's definitely had an impact. And I think we should probably get some credit for kind of the low dollar racing craze that started up 20 years ago or so when we started our $2,000 challenge. And that was kind of the first, it used to be, it was inconceivable that you could go racing for a couple grand.
Yeah.
And we started the challenge, we started proving you could do it. And now there's a dozen different low buck race series that make their whole kind of universe based around that fact.
Yeah, for sure. I would actually really like to do one of those. Just need to.
They're a blast.
Yeah. It's one of those. You talk about it with your friends. Everybody's like, yeah, and then it just, man, it's taken the step to actually get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of hard.
Well, hey, you got enough friends to start a podcast. That means you got enough friends to start a race team.
There you go. I like it. Just got to get everybody on the same schedule, which is really more difficult than it sounds.
Yeah. Even
it's really hard. Yeah.
Even just the 4 of us, it's almost impossible.
Yeah. It can be difficult, but I mean, it would be worth it, I feel like.
Yeah.
What's like on a day-to-day basis for you? I know you said you don't get to go out in the shop and just work on cars as much as you'd like, but like, what's that look like for you? Getting out, doing a project, obviously you want to write about it as well. So you kind of really got to pay attention to what you're doing, what's going on. But what does that a day-to-day look like for you?
Sure. So it's probably 60-40 sitting at a desk at a computer versus actually out in the shop.
Yeah.
Most people think, oh, you're under a car all day, every day. So as publisher, a lot of my day to day is actually on the advertising side of the business, which, pays a lot of the bills.
Sure.
So kind of talking to, which the cool thing is, it's all people that we've known for years and years. It's all friends. Most of my customers are people that I race against, which makes it really easy to talk to them all day. So that's a fun part of the job, honestly. Yeah. And then, go out and make content and build cars. So about 2 minutes before I got on this call, I was out in the new shop. We were moving the shop to a new commercial building a couple miles away. So I was putting the last coat of paint on it before we hopefully start our Mustang project next week in there.
That's cool.
So, yeah. But no, we have editorial meetings. We kind of plan what we want to write about, what we want to build. What's the next step on each car, and then we make sure that there's somebody to document it and somebody to do the work. And sometimes it's the same person, but usually we try to have a photographer tag along whenever we're doing anything too kind of big and exciting.
Yeah.
And we make changes. We put parts on cars. We build parts, whatever we need to do, and then we go to the track. So we've got a great partnership with a track called the Florida International Rally and Motorsport Park, our official test track.
Wow.
And we're over there every other week or so, if not more often.
That's
and
cool.
Basically just always there collecting data on different cars, trying to figure out if we actually made something faster or better or cheaper or ideally all of the above.
Right.
And then we kind of go back, analyze, and write it up, and then plan the next change.
How do you pick, like, not only a project and what car and that kind of stuff, but is it like a brainstorming session? So you've chosen the special car that you're going to work on. Do you brainstorm what you want to do to it?
Yeah.
So outline that?
It kind of starts that all of us are terminally online. So we're always sending each other stuff, be it Facebook Marketplace listings. Man, when those, what was it, 5 CRXs popped up on Facebook for $2,000, it made, it circulated around the whole car internet a few months ago. That was bouncing around the office like crazy. We have a group chat that's just full of bad ideas.
Yeah.
From all of that kind of comes we talk about themes in the industry, in the paddock, up and coming cars or classes or series or that sort of thing. And then we talk about, where kind of all that stuff intersects and kind of wherever those lines cross is where we pick a car. I know that's a little fuzzy, but
I get it, but
so we're just starting an S197 Mustang project. And we're building it for the SCCA's Club Spec program. So that's kind of one of those things where we were looking for $5,000 to $10,000 kind of street focused car build, kind of round out that side of the magazine.
Yeah.
We were looking for something that we could still be really competitive with. And we were looking for something that kind of our entry-level staffers could build. We actually just hired a couple new editorial folks, and kind of they're new to this world. They, have racing backgrounds and have played with cars and such, but kind of never in the big leagues, if you will.
Sure.
So, from kind of all that, we were like, Club Spec Mustang would be a pretty perfect thing to do next. So we picked up a car, and now we're kind of piling up the parts next to it to get started.
Yeah.
And then, JG's got an old ASA stock car that he picked up, and it was a deal on Marketplace, as a lot of bad ideas start, but it was also on our forum, which is still really, really active at grassrootsmotorsports.com. There were a bunch of people playing with these old stock cars, and they were like, hey, for a couple grand, you could get like a really quick car that's really easy to work on, that doesn't have any of the compromises that a production-based car has. So we picked one up, and we're kind of learning how that works too.
Oh, that's cool.
So are you building that one for track or for like a circle track?
So his plan is time trials.
No.
And I don't want to give too much away, but he's talking to K Series folks, and he's talking to 8HP automatic folks.
Wow.
So I don't know exactly what that one's going to look like. We try not to say too much before we have a pretty firm plan.
Yeah, that's
but
fair.
It should be pretty cool when it's done.
Yeah.
You ever worry about running out of ideas? I mean, I think that's kind of a valid question, because
people always ask that, and
it's,
if you could only read the group chats, and we put some
all
of it
kinds
on
of bad
forum,
ideas.
No, don't worry. We've got infinite bad ideas.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's a plus too, because you can take those bad ideas, and that's good content.
Well, and it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
I can turn, I'm pretty good with Excel. I can turn the worst idea on the planet into a pretty good business decision. At least on paper.
Yeah.
So
that's
funny.
funny.
You can ask me about the time we built the Volkswagen Fox once. So
yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
We had to literally be talked out of air-cooled Volkswagen swapping a bug-eyed WRX for lemons a couple days ago. So, no, we're not going to run out of ideas. We might run out of good ones, but then we'll just have to work harder on the bad ones.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, people like to see failures too, though. So a bad idea is, like I said, that's good content.
Yeah. That's, everything is content.
Yeah.
Might give you an idea of what not to do.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, the Backyard Project guys, hey, they tried it. That didn't work out so good.
Yeah, let's not do that one.
Yeah. You just never know.
Yeah.
How many people do you actually have on your staff?
I think we're 13 people right now.
Yeah.
So that's 13 full-time employees. And then we've got a pretty deep well of contributors, too, that work with us regularly. And that's, people that have quote-unquote real jobs or, are still in jail but write really well on notepads. Or not kidding. But no, we have a pretty deep well of contributors that will help us out and send in stories. Carl Heidemann, Wayne Presley, a couple others that can think of. So in reality, it's maybe 25, 30 people that make the magazine.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's it. It takes a lot. I mean, you can't just, at some point, you used to be able to just start it out with a bunch of your friends, like your mom and dad did. But man, it takes a lot to put out that much stuff, And those aren't short articles necessarily. The time that it takes to put into one of those over, several weeks before you actually have enough to put it together, I would assume, yeah?
Right, yeah. Our so between the two magazines, because we do classic motorsports too, it basically means we put out a magazine every 6 weeks. And, the story, so 6 weeks start to finish to build a magazine. Mm-hmm. And then obviously you're working on writing stories far ahead of that too.
Yeah.
So, whenever we do a story, a lot of times people will say, hey, when's my car going to be in the magazine? And the standard line is as soon as 2 months, as long as 2 years. And most of them are somewhere in the middle there.
Yeah. Wow. Yep.
So it's definitely a long lead time.
No doubt. So you were saying about, having ideas, building parts and that kind of stuff. Has anything you've built spawned like an aftermarket part of any kind? Like you've actually pioneered something that hasn't been done?
I got to think back on that one. We've definitely helped companies prototype over the years.
Okay.
And nothing I can really go into publicly, but it's pretty easy because we have all these relationships and we're playing with these cars, and we have access to press fleets as well. So we've definitely helped some companies come out with parts that you can buy now. As a rule, we'll never make and sell more than more than one of anything and sell it because we don't want to compete with our advertisers.
Sure. Yeah.
And because that's just not,
that's not what you're in
making
it for,
magazines. Yeah, making magazines is hard. I could not imagine trying to make aftermarket parts. Hearing the stories from my friends and what they have to go through, would never want to do that.
Right.
But so it's a lot of, if you can't buy something or if something's ludicrously expensive, here's how to do it at home is kind of what we'll focus on.
Yeah.
Like a decent example is in classic motorsports, we've been building I think it's a 64 Elva sports racer. So Elva was this little British car company in the 60s, basically, that built race cars. And we bought the car in pieces from some dude's rafters, as usual. And there was absolutely no way to bolt the engine to the transmission. It's a Coventry Climax, a weird little aluminum engine from the 50s, and it bolts to a Hewland transaxle made out of an old Volkswagen gearbox. Okay. So we bought a mill and kind of started taking measurements and made the adapter plate and the bell housing to connect these two really weird parts. Now, if you're listening to this and you're one of the, 20 other people in the world that has one of these cars, I'll send you the drawings, but I really don't want to get into making Elva bell housings.
Yeah. I have a feeling that's going to be the next car in my collection.
No.
Yeah, get out of here. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I've got a project for you, though.
Not another one.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. See, that's the cool thing to me about the project car guy, the backyard builder. You have to build stuff out of necessity. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot more out there available than there used to be. But even with my projects, I'm looking for stuff that's not available. So I'm going to have to get creative, engineer it, build it myself.
MacGyver it.
Well, a little bit of MacGyvering, but
sometimes.
Hopefully better than that. But anyway, yeah, I find that really interesting, because people get creative. You have to.
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to finances and all kinds of different reasons, but
yeah.
Well, one of my favorite stories is for our $2,000 challenge we do every year. The rule is if it's on the car, it counts in the budget, period. Like if you use zip ties, if you use 2 zip ties out of a bag of 50, you better put 2/50ths of that bag's cost onto your budget sheet.
Interesting.
So competitor needed stiffer bushings for, I think it was a Miata he did this for. And, a set of cheap urethane bushings for a Miata is, call it $100. Mm-hmm. That's a lot when your total budget's $2,000.
Yeah, it is.
But tools don't count. So he bought a lathe, and then he found a restaurant auction, and he won a set of bathroom partitions, like the stalls, for I think it was $20 or something for a bunch of stalls, which are made out of kind of like a Delrin plastic. Mm-hmm. And then he actually made all his own bushings out of bathroom stall material.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And the car did really well. It was a great autocross car. So
wow.
I'd call it a success. Huh. Now I don't know if they last long term, but for one autocross it worked and he saved a bunch of budget.
Yeah, that's all he needed.
Genius.
Just enough to get through it. So your $2,000 budget race is an autocross competition, or?
Yeah, so it's a 3-discipline event.
Oh, okay.
There's an autocross, there's a drag race, and then there's a concours judging to make sure the cars aren't just horribly ugly. And
I want to enter this. That sounds really fun.
It's a blast. 2000challenge.com has all the details and rules and stuff. But and you think, so when we started this event, the idea was, people would buy some clapped out used cars and maybe put a turbo on or do something kind of cool, get their junk cars to be a little faster. It'll be great content. Mm-hmm. And what we instead got was college engineering schools starting their own programs to compete in this event.
Awesome.
Like Georgia Tech, next to their FSAE team, has the Georgia Tech Challenge team called Rec Racing, and a couple other schools too compete. So it quickly spiraled as races do, and now they're running 9.2 second quarter miles.
Wow!
Which
man, $2,000 build? Holy smokes!
Yes, total. No. There are some exceptions.
Yeah,
you get one set of tires for free. Is basically the only notable exception.
Gotcha.
What about
that's about it.
What about safety equipment? Kind of because Lemons doesn't have that where it's unlimited budget for safety equipment, right? Is it the same thing?
No, we have a couple exceptions, but they're way more locked down than Lemons. So seats and roll bars and stuff all count because we've seen teams use them to make their cars faster.
Oh.
Okay.
The only real safety exemptions we have is the actual harness itself, if you choose to run a race harness, and a fire extinguisher. And we finally had to implement some brake exemptions. So it's not free brakes like Lemons or any of the other series, but basically you can do the absolute bare minimum stock brakes just to make sure you don't kill anybody.
Okay.
Gotcha. Wow.
But it's pretty impressive what they're able to do. And every event we try to pull whatever the fastest car in the press fleet is. So we'll get a new Corvette or Viper or something like that. And they always beat it by a couple seconds in the autocross. It's nuts.
Wow. That is impressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back to your, oh my gosh, it must be a massive list of builds over a lifetime. Do you have a best build to date? Something that's just like, we've never beat it yet?
That's tough. It's been a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big list.
Yeah.
Well, can I ask?
I'd say probably.
Well, I was going to ask,
Sorry, go ahead.
if it's a tough list to figure it out, is it because every build you build has to be better than the last?
There's that. There's, some builds are great because they get a lot of people to read the magazine or the website.
Mm-hmm.
Some builds are great because of the relationships you build in the process and the people you meet. And some are great because they collect trophies. And it's kind of how do you weigh all those things?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say one of my favorites is honestly we built a really, really cheap 1.6 Miata about 10 years or so ago and went endurance racing with it.
Mm-hmm.
And we changed almost nothing. It was a really honest $500 car for Lemons and Champ, kind of the low budget endurance racing series.
Mm-hmm.
And we had probably 1,000 laps on that car with
Wow.
very, very little issues. It didn't really need much. It didn't really consume brakes or tires or anything like the fast cars. We would just take it out and have a blast racing for a whole weekend straight every single time with no issues. It was great.
That's cool.
So then we decided we needed to make it faster. And that was 3 shells and 6 engines ago.
Oh,
Yeah. Things start to break when you start making them faster.
yeah.
Yeah, that car and cars in quotes, because who knows if there's any of that original Miata even left anymore.
Yeah.
But that's now a V6 swap 300 horsepower car that's about as fast as our Corvette, our Z06 project was on track.
Oh, wow.
We're still endurance racing it.
What class
that
is
one,
it in?
we run Lucky Dog, so
okay.
it doesn't really have it's kind of like bracket racing.
Okay.
But every time it throws a part spectacularly out of it in one way or another, we kind of all turn to each other and go, remember how easy life was when this was that 1.6 car?
Yeah.
It was so easy.
When it was basically stock.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another good one was we actually my dad built this one. He rotary swapped a Spitfire back when rotary swaps weren't really a thing yet.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
This was back in the early 90s, so Miatas were too expensive. So trying to put the Mazda rotary into a Triumph Spitfire, he was using all RX-7 parts that were too big and didn't fit. And that car is one of the ones that put us on the map. People still call the office every couple weeks and ask about it, like it just happened yesterday. And it was, by today's standards, it was nothing special. It did roughly a 4-second 0 to 60. It made mid 200 horsepower numbers at the tire. It was light and it was quick and it sounded good. But, these days, those kind of numbers aren't impressive at all. But that was kind of the first super wild project we did, and it's really cool to see it still so popular today. And it spawned a bunch of clones too. The number of yellow rotary Spitfires I've seen in the decades since has been pretty cool.
Yeah, that is kind of neat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's pretty flattering, right? It's people see that and go,
Yeah.
I want to do that. That looks really cool. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then okay, you want the worst one we ever did?
I do.
yes.
I was going to ask. So yes, absolutely.
So do you know what a Berkeley is?
I've heard of it. I can't picture it off the top of
It's
my head.
Some from the 80s.
So it's a little British micro car from the 50s.
Okay.
Okay.
And for a while, SCCA, I think it was B Mod, had a weird loophole where you could run basically, we thought we were going to build an overdog by keeping this car front wheel drive as the rules spec'd and putting a GSXR motorcycle engine in it,
Ooh.
and going into a tube frame.
Okay.
So we did. Complete tube frame, Gixxer motor, ended up building our own differential, and actually a lot of that was to Denny Crable, one of those contributors I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Some really trick stuff. And then we got to the part of a project any engineer would call it integration hell, where we actually tried to get all the parts of the car to work with each other. And as it turns out, it was so dangerous because a Berkeley's about 3 or 4 feet wide. It really is a micro car. And we were running 8-inch wide Hoosiers with 200 horsepower, not 200, not from but still, way too much power.
Sure.
And so much torque steer from keeping it front wheel drive to meet the rules that it was actually undrivable. I mean, we would put pro racers in it and they would say, I'm going to die, get me out of here.
Wow.
Oh, we've got some great photos of its only real test day. We kept going to the track, and the only time it ever really put down a lap, it would fly the two inside wheels a foot in the air through every sweeper.
Wow. With the size of that car and how much power you guys had, do you know, is that comparable, say, to like a small block Cobra or to like a Sunbeam Tiger?
Oh, yeah, it was definitely in that ballpark.
Like power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But it was so twitchy. We finally, we tried a couple Band-Aids and ultimately the SCCA changed the rules, rendering it uncompetitive in the class, or actually not fitting in the class anymore. And before we could ever sort the car out, we ended up selling it off.
Yep. See, that was my other question. So what happens to that car?
Yeah.
So we sold it to a friend, actually a real close friend, an engineer with a background as a pro race engineer with kind of Mazda teams and some other Rolex 24 entries. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I can fix it. After a couple of years, he finally disassembled it and sold the parts off strategically in different directions to make sure it would never be reassembled.
What?
Gotcha.
That's funny.
So I'm really curious, though, on that project, like GSXR, obviously chain driven. How do you mate the two? How does that work?
So Denny, the guy who built a lot of the car, he basically made his own kind of differential and chain drive conversion box that took the chain input and put it out to two half shafts with a RAV4 limited slip in the middle.
Oh, wow.
So picture this kind of upboard motor looking hunk of aluminum in the front of the car with a sprocket on one end and axles on the bottom.
Wow.
And that's how you get the power out.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that is interesting. I've often wondered about a lot of GSXR or the Hayabusa motors. Those kind of things get used in cars. Some of them continue to be chain driven, but I was always wondering, like, has anybody come out with some kind of bolt-on
swap?
Well, yeah, a bolt-on transmission somehow converting, that without using a chain, using some kind of drive axle. I don't even know.
So, like the
conversion gears.
Buell has
it's a belt.
Oh yeah, they're belt.
Yeah, they're belt drive.
There are some that are shaft driven instead of.
Yeah. There's some of the cruiser types are shaft drives, so I could see something like that work. They're not really high performance motors though. So anyway, interesting. Sidetracked.
Yeah, I know we've talked about that kind of project for the Fiat X19.
Yeah. Using a big Hayabusa motor, 1300.
A small little car, mid-engine.
Yeah, it's just a matter of getting the power to the axle. How do you do it?
More weight, lots of wings.
Lots of weight, yeah. Red Bull. So, all right, so that's kind of a sort of a give-up project. How often does that happen where you run into so many setbacks that you're just like, this is just not going to happen. It's not going to work. You have to give up on it.
Pretty rarely.
Yeah.
I can only think of a few times over the years. Generally, if we start a project, we're going to finish it, and we have so many more resources and connections and time, and hopefully not budget, but if push comes to shove, kind of budget than the average person in their home garage.
Right.
That we try to every single thing we do. Our litmus test is can a normal person in a 2-car garage with a day job replicate this project?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'd say 99% of the stuff we do, somebody could. But that 1%, when somebody might have to give up a project, we'll reach into our back pocket and pull out the friend or the connections or the buddy with the Tormach or that sort of thing and get it done.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, that's a good way to kind of look at it in the back of your mind. Could you do this in a garage? Does, average Joe have this in his back pocket? Mm-hmm. Does he have these tools or whatever? No, I like that.
If not, I guess it'd be creative how to make up for it,
Yeah. Well, and, we'll use aftermarket parts sometimes when it would be cheaper and quicker for us to just make something, because the average person isn't going to just whip up a sway bar end link or something in their backyard.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it all goes into that budget category at that point, but it can be done. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So with all the projects that you do for work, I mean, obviously you probably get your fill, but do you have any personal projects? Do you strive to do that at home too?
Yeah. Well, I'll start by saying that until very recently, I mentioned we're moving into that commercial building.
Right.
The shop and most of the project photos in at least recent history in Grassroots is right behind my house.
So it is at home.
Yeah.
Technically. Yeah.
And JG, he's got a big metal building in his backyard. But most of this is actually happening at home. But yeah, when I'm not doing kind of the one thing I do differently with my own personal stuff is I never take any photos.
Oh yeah.
The normal day job, I have to make sure that if I put coilovers on a car, I'll come away with 500 or 1,000 photos of the process,
right?
Which takes a ton of time and it's a ton of pain. And if you're just working on your car, you throw a headlamp on and you're good to go light wise. But if you're trying to shoot a magazine, then you're moving lights around. And it's just a total pain. So when I'm working on my own stuff, I blitz through it and don't take any photos. And then later I'm trying to show my friends what I did and I have nothing.
Yeah. But it felt good when you were doing it.
It felt great.
Yeah. Exactly. You weren't tied to the camera. I totally get that.
Yeah. Oh, and let's see, I kind of any car stuff I do, or any sports car stuff I do, is work related. But I play with motorcycles some in my free time.
Yeah.
And I also got into trucks a little bit, or into off-roading.
Nice.
So I've got an old Isuzu Trooper set up kind of for overlanding with some extra armor and stuff to go up to the mountains and play in the rocks.
That's cool.
And I picked up the Trooper, and actually there's an Isuzu club, believe it or not. Super nice people, and they were doing their annual meet, and this was a decade ago or so. I went to the first one, and I'm driving up like, this is going to be so great. I'm going to go to a car event and nobody's going to know me.
Yeah.
I'm going to just go with the flow. I'm going to chill. I'm going to hang out around the fire. This is going to be, cause, and I love that I go to a track and I know everybody and I see my friends and they read the magazine and it's great. But it's work and it's a lot, especially if you're introverted.
Yep.
So I was so excited to go to this event where I'd be a total stranger. And I pull up to the campground that the Isuzu Club was basing their thing at. And I get out of the truck, and the first guy I see goes, "You're Tom Suddard from Grassroots. I read your magazine. I race lemons."
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, geez. Again, nicest people in the world.
Yeah.
But like even in the mountains in North Carolina, I
can't get away from it.
I find our readers. Yeah.
I know that feeling all too well.
It's flattering at the same time, but I could understand it. Yep. So the other voice you're hearing,
hello,
Grant showed up.
Hi.
Oh, hey.
He's our Mustang guy.
Yeah.
Our Mustang.
Very cool.
Lamborghini Ferrari guy.
I am the guy with the Liger Zero.
Why did he not sound super excited when you said Mustang guy?
What?
Yeah, I know. He kind of played that down.
Yeah,
he usually bounces off the walls.
Well, I mean, yes. But I'm also a supercar Italian guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like all cars.
That is true.
Yeah.
Okay. What? Coyote Mustang or different Mustang?
S197 07 with the 4.6 into it. But my Mustang I've had since 2009. She has 140,000 miles, and most of the driving has been either backcountry road driving or autocross or racing. So that car, I know there's very few people I know about that platform of Mustang other than me. I will brag and I will put that on camera now and say yes.
Well, before you got here, I was telling them we just bought one.
Oh,
we
really?
Just picked up an 06.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's our next project.
There's such great cars. Like they
honestly, I've been blown away. I baselined at bone stock at the track a couple weeks ago, and I was like, "That's weird." I always thought these cars were terrible, but this is great.
Yeah, I've actually had friends I've taught how to race and learn from cars just from stock, because stock they're okay. But you can build them into a really sharp machine, and learning a heavy car that's somewhat mushy right off the bat, and then perfect that to like a knife edge with some power on the track, you can take that ability and put to any car that you're going into.
That's slightly less mushy.
That's less mushy.
Yeah.
You know. Do you have any? What's kind of your game plan for parts and stuff we're gonna throw at it?
So we're going to build an SCCA club spec car.
Oh, very cool.
So basically, conies and sport springs. You could do like a tune and an exhaust, but that's about it power wise.
Mm-hmm.
And then go. Hopefully, have some really close competition and time trials and autocross with it.
Yeah. Are you guys gonna swap? So I looked into that, and I was like, I started specking on Mustang in my head, going that because the rules say you can use the parts that were available off the same year Mustangs, right? So like, if it was optioned with it, you could have it. So for example, like a Bullet Mustang has the 373 gears. So
they spec a final drive.
Yeah.
So you have to run the I forget what it is. You have to run the more common final
355.
drive. Yeah. So I should look that up.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense. They want everybody to be on the same. So I could understand that being part of the spec.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have to run the 355. But you can run the other kind of parts from the quote unquote cool Mustangs they made. But it's mostly because you're doing shocks and lowering springs in a tune anyway.
Yeah.
That's mostly all the stuff, some dress up parts and appearance stuff, but the suspension and tune is really the only difference.
Yeah. I think the only thing that really would make a difference from the other cool quote unquote Mustangs that you could use is the bigger Brembos from the GT500. I mean,
yeah, and you can run the Ford Performance Big Brake Kit, which I think is that.
Yeah. So, but I'm excited to see you guys race that thing. That's going to be awesome. I think that's honestly one thing. I've got my Mustang. It's heavily modified. I mean, it's got Explorer parts in it. It's got Focus parts in it. It's got modified. All sorts of things. But at some point, I do want to get another Mustang and then put that on and join that spec. And I know it'd piss Rob off because he knows it'd have a radio in it.
Yeah.
With the shaker system in the back.
Ridiculous. It's terrible. To each his own.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, since probably all of your builds revolve around some kind of motorsport, do you have a favorite? Like, what is your favorite type of racing to do?
Personally, I really love endurance racing.
Yeah.
I love all the track time, and I really enjoy, the challenge of making it through a day or two of that track time with my friends and with my team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's personally what I really love. I'll always have a soft spot for autocrossing. That's where I started, like a lot of people.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, autocross for years and years. And then I've been getting into time trials more and more lately as that side of our world has grown so much.
Right.
And it's a totally different challenge from endurance racing because
Mm-hmm.
there is no, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out in the next 20 minutes. It's, I need one quick lap and then I'm done. And it's been kind of cool, kind of reorienting myself to focus on getting one good lap, and kind of, it's a fun challenge in contrast to the endurance stuff.
Yeah, it is a fun challenge. I really enjoy that too. I got into it a couple of years ago, and I really like just finding that clean lap. You're out there with 20 other cars or whatever, so you got to space yourself out. You got to make sure your car's ready, your tires are cool enough, and go for it. Hope you get it right, and then if you don't, well, you try again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like it.
And building wise, it's so much easier because the car only has to last for a couple minutes.
I mean, technically, yeah. Yeah.
Out of the endurance series, is there any that stands out that you like more than the others? Whether it's like Lucky Dog, Lemon Racing, yeah.
So we kind of got to be Switzerland because we play with everybody. We write about everybody. We have pretty good relationships with pretty much every sanctioning body.
Mm-hmm.
They all do different things well.
Mm-hmm.
I love the builds and the fun of Lemons.
Mm-hmm.
I love the competition of Champ Car and how serious that has gotten.
Okay.
It's like AER and WRL. It's so cool that I can go run kind of little IMSA.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucky Dog is a really great kind of mix of all that combined.
Okay.
they do a nice job balancing kind of the laid back fun of lemons with the competition of champ cars, something like that. So I know that's a non-answer. That's somewhat intentional, but
that's fair.
They all do different things well, and they all, I'm not sure I could ever be one of those people that kind of finds a home in one series, and they're there forever. It's really fun jumping around between everything. Mm-hmm. So kind of that's where I'm at.
Yeah, getting those different experiences and being able to change it up is pretty cool.
Could I ask then, if it's being neutral in all aspects, if you had it your way, is there a made up series that like none of the ones do that like I wish there was a series that was like did this, this, and this?
So if you could make your own, basically.
Yeah, like what would be your dream series, you think?
Yeah. That's a good question. I would say one cool thing that I keep hearing kind of, hey, wouldn't it be cool if? Mm-hmm. I know so many racers that have side-by-sides in the garage for that's their other fun thing.
Yep.
And I'm not really a side-by-side guy or anything, but I've taken a couple rips in them. Mm-hmm. And wow, are those a lot of capability for relatively little money compared to a new sports car.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I would love to see a place to play with those that has some sort of competition. And I know there's some off-road organizations doing that and everything, but they're a lot like little Ariel Atoms you can buy for $20,000. That's kind of compelling. I'd love to see more of that out and about instead of just, going and jumping them.
So that's an interesting concept. I would love to see those things do rally.
Yeah.
Oh, they have rally for those.
Yeah.
But I had a couple of those for a little bit, and I always thought it would be really cool just to lower it as far down as you could go, put some Hoosiers on it, and see what it would do.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because some of the
it's kind of like,
they're quick.
It's everybody who had an ATV in their garage 10 years ago now has a little tube frame 100 horsepower race car in their garage.
Pretty much.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And
actually, the new ones are like 235 to 250 horse factory.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're like 800 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's I don't know why you couldn't autocross that with the lower it, obviously.
Yeah.
No, I think you could. It actually crossed my mind.
You might do wheelies in it.
Well, you'd have
you're not
change up.
You don't have to sell me. I'm already there.
Yeah. He's browsing Marketplace right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So what's next? Can you tell us?
Yeah. So what's next?
Liger on the front page. Got it. Thank you.
He doesn't even know what that is. Liger.
No.
So this is kind of going to be a year of finishing projects.
Yeah.
So we've got that V6 Miata endurance racer. We need to somehow put a 20-gallon cell into it and actually go and really compete at a race.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a pretty big project, and that'll be kind of fun to do. I've got an LS swapped 350Z time trials car.
Oh, nice.
That did really well at its first kind of real competition outing a year or so ago. Got a TTU podium, again, its first time competing for anything.
Wow.
With the oil light on the whole time. So I'm halfway through a dry sump on that, kind of learning how dry sumps work and how to build one in a weird car that isn't an off-the-shelf application.
Yeah.
We're going to do that Mustang and kind of going to, again, we've got some kind of younger, greener people on staff now building cars, and I'm kind of going to see where they want to take things.
Okay.
So obviously I'm going to keep building cars forever, but I'd love for 3 or 4 of us at once to be building cars. So I'm going to see how the Mustang goes and see what they want to do next and go from there.
Cool.
I got to ask, because I don't know if you guys talked about this earlier in the podcast. How do you manage your time if you got that many projects going on and that many racing events? Like, is this something you sit down with a calendar? Is this something like, if we get to work good, or it's like, no, we've got time or deadlines, we have to get to this done?
Yeah. It's a juggling act for sure. So we sit down at the beginning of the year and put together an events calendar, and we'll whittle down a list of 300 events down to maybe a list of 100 events that we go to across the different staffers. And from there, we kind of work backwards to, what cars do we need to finish for these events? And then what cars do we have in progress? Where are their stories going to land, kind of game out the year? And it rarely goes according to plan, but it's at least good to have a plan going into things.
Yeah.
As far as time wise, so the office is only open Friday mornings. Friday afternoon is purposely off so anybody can go work on whatever they want to. And then we're real flexible the rest of the week on garage time for anybody who needs it. And kind of the understanding is that as long as you get your quote unquote real work done, then whatever time you want to spend in the garage is yours to spend.
I know where I need to work. Yeah. What happens to the cars? Out of all the projects that you guys do, like, do you have a stable of cars that you hold on to because y'all really like to drive them and they're great race cars, or do they all eventually just go down the road?
Or they fold into other cars?
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
That too. Yeah.
So, the answer is it depends. So we all have car hoarding problems. Our editorial director has a 2-car garage, and I think 5 cars right now.
Oh yeah.
And he's slimmed down to 5. He's doing well. My dad has a garage with 20 cars in it at home that he's just been unable to get rid of over the years.
Yeah.
JG is started putting up kind of tarp garages outside of his 2,000 square foot shop for extra cars. I think I have 10 right now, which is not healthy.
Hey, I'm right there with you. I got that many.
Yeah,
I feel like my hoarding's not so bad now.
Yeah, right?
yeah, exactly. So if something's really, really cool, we'll hold on to it. But JG always uses this analogy. He goes, it's building a project car for a magazine is a little bit like falling in love at summer camp. Because as soon as we get a car finished and it is sorted and it's got some trophies and we've done everything you could do, which is normally when somebody building a car steps back and goes, I finally did it. I built my dream project. At that point, there's nothing else to write about. It's time for it to move along.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite parts of this job is that you get to play with kind of all these different sorts of cars and learn about them and meet the people in the community and meet the people building parts and compete in them and then go on to the next thing. So usually we sell them. Usually we'll just put an ad in the magazine and its final story and say, hey, if you want to own this car, call us. And pretty much every time the day after the magazine hits mailboxes, a reader calls and says, I'd love to have it.
That's awesome.
And I wish I could say we did some big giveaway or something like that, but we're not that big of a company and don't have the resources.
No, you're still on a budget. Yeah.
Yeah. So we try to sell our cars for basically whatever a stock one is worth, and everybody wins. Ideally, they go to a reader and keep going to the track, and we kind of follow them through the years afterwards, and then we roll that budget into the next one.
Yeah,
nice.
No, that's cool. So what? Out of those cars, and maybe you've kind of already answered this, do you have a favorite that you just gelled with, something that you really liked to drive?
They're Liger.
Yeah.
Just so you know,
right.
Liger's the name of my Mustang, and it means a car that's super I'm attached to. So that's
okay.
Just for
I thought you were
reference.
talking about the prototype racer. I was like, that's a little weird.
No, everyone in the Northwest. I'm not joking. When if my car's an event, no one calls it the Mustang. Everyone says there's Liger.
It's because you
Nice.
scowl at them if they call it a Mustang.
It's because it says Liger across the front window.
Yeah,
but that's only recent.
Anyway,
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. Okay, I hate to pick the last car I sold, but I'm really going to miss our Mark 7 GTI. We had a Volkswagen GTI project car, and I bought it literally out of the Carvana vending machine.
Oh, wow, really?
Went and put my quarter in, picked it up as a bone stock car, and over the course of the year, built it into a car. I really did use it as my daily driver about 90% of the time. It was some pretty basic bolt-ons, and that car, I could drive it 5 hours to a track unload all my camping gear from it, go and run at the pointy end of any group with license plates, and then load my stuff back up and drive home with get 32 miles to the gallon on the drive.
That's pretty
You
cool.
know, I've never had a car that was just so easy to show up, you know, anywhere within driving distance, and just embarrass some really, really nice cars. And I've, you know, we always kind of root for the underdog. It was so much fun just passing cars that had no business passing on doing track days.
Yeah.
And I would have kept it, but you know, kind of that COVID-induced used car inflation made it worth a bunch of money, and I just didn't want to spend a bunch of money to have a 10-year-old Volkswagen. You know, I wish its new owner the best of luck. He's still doing track days in Sebring. The car's been great for him, but man, I don't know if I could buy an out of warranty Volkswagen with plans to keep it long term.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like
it was a fantastic car?
Yeah, that's awesome. You kind of brought up that COVID car bubble. Do you think it's burst?
I think things are pretty much back to normal now.
Yeah. I feel the same just from all the shop. You know, we're just like you. We shop Marketplace all the time, looking at, you know, the next thing that I have to put in my shop.
When you get C8s now down to what, 50, 60 grand now, when they were selling 100, you know, 30, 40 grand over sticker, things are starting to slow back down.
Things were nuts. So, you know, we always try and keep a kind of diverse kind of layout of project cars in the magazine. So, you know, we'll have a super crazy track build with a cage. We'll have a more street-oriented car that's pretty basic. And you know, the idea is to have something for everybody.
Yeah.
And for a couple of years there, we had a big street car-sized hole in our lineup because we were too cheap to buy anything with those crazy COVID markups.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And finally, and that's how I ended up at that Carvana vending machine, because I was finally like, we can't just stop writing about, you know, barely out of warranty street cars. I guess this is the reality now.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it was a weird time. You know, I've been through cash for clunkers and the recession and some other odds and ends over the years. So it's not the first, won't be the last, but it was certainly interesting.
Yeah.
What about in terms of, you guys are always having different type of projects going on? Do you guys dabble in any of the electric stuff then?
Yeah, actually.
Okay.
So and full disclosure, I daily an F-150 Lightning and absolutely love it.
Okay.
And our video guy just picked up probably the cheapest Model S on the planet. He bought a Tesla Model S P85D for 10 grand. A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Running, driving, shiny car with no issues.
Wow, that's incredible.
I mean, man, tell me you wouldn't have done that, right?
No, that's a hard opportunity to pass up, unless the battery's bricked, you know.
It's been fine. He's put a couple thousand miles on it already. So I've got nothing against electric cars. I think they have some amazing advantages. I'm not exactly sure how they fit into our world yet, but I'm almost positive they do. We're already sketching out our first electric swap project car. You know, we'll play with them. People are so worried about them because it's just like when fuel injection came out, or when OBD2 was going to ruin hot rodding, or when you know, when cars with computers were going to ruin hot rodding. I mean, it's, you know, people are already racing them. People will keep racing them. It's insane how much power you can get, and I'm excited to see kind of where it goes in a couple of years.
Yeah. Do you guys have any future projects with electric where it's like, okay, we're going to put a Tesla motor in, I don't know, a Firebird, or, you know?
So we've got some good friends that work pretty deeply in the electric aftermarket industry. And I've got some 3D scans of an NC Miata, and that's all I'll say at this point.
Okay.
Just teasing it, man. Well, that's
just
good.
teasing it.
That's exciting.
That's good.
And you know, I think I was telling them a little earlier, you know, we try to base our projects on, could somebody in their 2-car garage with a day job do this project?
Right.
Yeah.
You know, for a year or two now, the EV swaps have been to where we could build one.
Okay.
But they're not quite to where our readers could build one. You know, our average reader could build one.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask, because of all the electronics needed in an EV car. Like,
it's
like,
nuts.
how? What do you think it's probably? We'll see in next 3 years. We'll start seeing more people in the garage being able to do that on a common swap, or Because it's not.
Yeah,
there
definitely.
Yet, right?
And I'm, talking to our friends in the aftermarket that like the parts exist today. It's just when they get into consumer hands, and I think that's close. And as soon as it's, as soon as the kind of more resourced end of our readership could replicate a swap, we'll build one for sure.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. So we're getting close to our time's up. I don't want to hold you too long. You're on the East Coast, right? So that's, it's getting late. It's getting late.
It's going to be bad. I got to get up early and go to the track tomorrow.
Oh,
that sounds fun.
Rough day. Yeah.
Yeah, tough day at work.
Yeah, we're drowning here. It rains every day and cold, so no track day for us. Real quick then, what advice would you give to a project car guy, and maybe the project car guy that's on the fence about getting that first project? He hasn't made the jump yet.
Sure. A couple things. Have a goal for your project. Ideally before you buy the car, but I know how people are. Just have a goal before you make any more progress than where you're at right now.
Yeah.
And the goal can be have a really cool 2006 Mustang, or it can be have a cool car, or it can be win a class, or learn how cars work, or spend time with your your kids working on it, something like that. It doesn't really matter what it is, but you should have just a goal and a reason to go to the garage to work on it.
Yep. I like it. That's pretty much what we preach too. It's like outline it, have a goal, and don't worry about the time.
Yeah. And the other thing I always tell people is you got to put 10 hours a week into it.
Oh, there you go.
It absolute bare minimum. That's my line anyway.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. That could be, one day a week, every Saturday you go out and you work on it for 10 hours straight, or it could be an hour after work here and there. But that seems to be about kind of the bare minimum to where you can keep a project moving and finish it in a year or two versus the cars that sit for 30 years.
Does that include, in your opinion, like, is that full wrench time, or does that include time like I need to do research, I'm buying this online, I need to look up?
Research, talking to friends on the forum, talking to your buddies, that all counts in there.
Nice.
People always get so hung up on, I didn't work on my car. All I did was figure out how to get the parts I need and figure out how they go on by talking to a couple people. It's like that counts as working on your car, and not doing that is going to get you in just as much trouble as doing that instead of working on it.
Yeah, you still got to do that stuff. If you need answers, you still have to do it. So it is progress, even though it doesn't feel like you physically did anything. It's progress.
Yeah,
exactly. And every project needs a little bit of time just staring at it and figuring out what the next steps are too.
Yeah. Tom, what 3 cars would you really like to drive someday?
Vehicles.
You don't have to own them. Oh, I'm corrected. Yeah. Vehicles.
Yeah.
You don't have to own them.
Okay.
What would you like to drive someday?
So I've never driven a proper K truck. The little Japanese microcar.
Okay.
And I've always wanted to. I've always thought they were fascinating. So that's on my list, and I know that's a pretty attainable car for somebody in my position. But I just never.
You should probably have one for the shop.
There.
You should probably have one.
I know. We've got a golf cart. Why not an Acti?
Yeah.
But so that's on my list. I've never driven. So I'm fascinated by brass era cars, like stuff from 100 years ago.
Okay.
I always loved them, not because I'm really into, the spindly brass headlight on the 1904 whatever or anything like that. I think they're fascinating engineering stories from when, there was no correct answer for any part of a car. So it's so cool at a show to see all those cars and to just figure out how they solved really, really solvable problems like steering or brakes or shifting in just the stupidest ways possible, because they had no idea how to build cars back then.
Like a handle outside the front door.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, so I've always loved those, and I've actually got a 1929 Model A, but that's still kind of too normal.
Yeah.
So I'd love to spend some time driving something just truly old and weird, or maybe an old electric or an old steam car. Just I want 37 levers that make no sense, and the owner has to walk me through every single one. I've always been kind of curious about that era of cars.
Almost a steampunked car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like I want to laugh the whole time because it's so stupid, and how could they ever think anybody could ever buy this?
It's like, what's this?
That kind of thing.
Two whirling balls that are going up and down and blowing steam. Oh, don't worry about that. Okay.
Yeah. And I could just picture, the 19 teens dudes in a boardroom going, well, of course this is the obvious way to solve this. Everybody will understand. This makes perfect sense.
Sure, makes perfect sense. In his brain it did.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Oh.
Yep.
Then let's see, third car I really want to drive. I kind of get to drive a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's more difficult in your position.
Yeah.
It could be a tank. Maybe you want to drive a tank or a Lamborghini tractor.
Or SR-71 Blackbird.
So I had a friend who's always looked out for us wherever company she's been, and always kind of made sure we had a foot in the door. Mm-hmm. And she spent some time at GM Defense.
Oh.
And there was talk of getting us onto a tank intro or press trip or something like that. Mm-hmm. And I've always kind of regretted, I wish we could, and I don't follow the tanks market or whatever as closely as I should, I guess. I don't know, being American.
You're right. Yeah.
But yeah. But I don't know exactly what weird GM Defense vehicle was being teased as, hey, maybe we could go drive this. But I always thought, what is it like? It'd be cool to tag along with the generals or whatever to see the new whatever. When they launch a new Miata, they set up an autocross course and let us autocross them. Mm-hmm. Do they set up a bunch of targets and let everybody shoot the gun? I don't know. It sounds like fun.
It does. That sounds pretty
interesting. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. It's the newest M4 whatever Abrams.
We have this giant laser beam that needs to be able to go through 3 feet of steel. How about you hop on it, Joe, and give us a thing?
Give us a try.
Exactly.
Wow. You got to be right. They have to test it. They have to be able to sell that.
And you got to make it a wow show to impress the generals.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm assuming there's tank media that has relationships and is telling these stories. I don't know. I've always been curious about that side of the world.
Who's the salesman for that? Right?
Is there somebody cold calling on tanks?
Right.
We should get a guest on that's involved in that world. I would love to hear about that.
That'd
be so cool.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. What 3 would you like to own? If you could have a collection of just whatever you wanted, price doesn't matter. What would you do? What would you go after?
Okay. Mm-hmm. I don't have a clean Miata right now.
Oh. Okay.
And I think that window might be closing.
Yeah.
So a really nice 1.8 powered NA Miata is one thing I need to put in the collection before too long.
Okay.
Because I don't think that's going to be a car you can get much longer, and it's such a core part of my life and my business and everything that I definitely need one of those.
What color?
See.
I mean, honestly, there's all sorts of Miatas out there, and if it's gonna be the perfect Miata, I gotta know what color comes to mind when you think of that. Yes.
So I'll always have a soft spot for, and I'm not sure they made it on the 1.8 cars, that Mariner blue.
Okay.
That kind of Smurf blue color.
Oh yeah.
Just because that I kind of, one of my first Miata experiences was in one that color, and I'll always have a soft spot for them.
Okay. The answer truly is always Miata.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Answer's always Miata. See, another car I really need. Okay, this isn't very grassroots, but did you guys know modern supercars are really good?
Yes.
Some of them are, agreed.
I had no idea until one of our contributors, Andy Hollis, super smart guy, he has a Wikipedia page, and not for car stuff, for his career as a software developer.
Okay.
So he has a McLaren 720S, and he invited me to go and do the one lap of America in it. And I gotta say, It didn't suck the first day, and it certainly didn't suck for a whole week. It was kind of, I've never really seen any great reasons to be supervillain rich,
Yeah.
but that might be one.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a
money's
fun
no
car to
object.
drive. It really is.
Especially with Hoosiers on.
Yeah.
Especially with Hoosiers. If you can oversize a little bit and put Hoosiers on it, the car sticks like no other. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I've never been a supercar guy. That's never been kind of what interested me about cars. It's just never, nothing against them. It just never drew my eye.
Yeah.
But wow, was that a good car?
Cool.
And then the other one, I mean, tank's never a bad answer. Going back to the last one, but
It's not. It'd be fun. I think it would be fun.
Yeah.
It's not a car, but I have bad thoughts about a sport bike every once in a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
I always been into bikes, grew up on dirt bikes and stuff, but never kind of the fast side of the spectrum. But I got the chance to do a couple laps at the BMW Performance Center on a new the naked leader bike, the S1000RR, I think, or S1000R single R.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, just like modern supercars, modern sport bikes are also pretty impressive.
Pretty impressed. Did it have the analog brake system on it too?
Yeah, it was magic.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a good.
So I'm 31 now. I think I'm nearly mature enough to have a sport bike and not die. But yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
because I've had those and I know what it's like. You get on there and it's just it's so hard not to twist that throttle.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe I already have enough dangerous hobbies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that's pretty awesome.
I'm 47 and I refuse to own a street bike.
It's a smart choice, honestly. All right.
Oh.
Last question, I promise. Sort of, I promise. What car's a hard no? I understand that this is going to be a difficult question for you.
This is the number one question everyone always wants to hear.
Yes. What is the hard no?
This is going to be bad, but I really don't hate any cars.
See?
If you're given keys, this is what you will drive for the rest of your life. You can never get rid of it. And you're like, I got to say, no, I can't. Either by principle or by like something.
There's got to be a car that you're like, no, I don't want to be seen in that.
Okay. I don't think I can answer this one. I honestly don't hate any cars, but I got a story.
Okay.
So for years and years, I had a framed CarMax offer in my office that was $100, and it had a note on there that said dangerous to drive. So I traded a broken Isuzu Rodeo for a broken B13 Nissan Sentra with 300,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And the car was so rusty. It really, I'm shocked I made it all the way to the CarMax. This was back in college. I was flipping cars and stuff every once in a while, putting up the money in the project budget. And so I thought it would be funny to take this thing to CarMax. And picture the worst 300,000 mile Sentra on the planet that had also been used to deliver pizzas by a heavy smoker.
Oh, nice.
It was gross. And I had dreams of rally crossing it, and I got under it and got so scared I like ran out from under it because I thought the jack stands were going to go through. It was so bad.
Really? Wow.
Oof.
So I took it to CarMax and just, played dumb college kid. Like, hey, I was thinking about getting a new car. Will you buy this one? And the guy was like legitimately scared for me. He was like, do your parents know you drive this? And they offered me $100 for it. And this was a running, driving car. And I was insulted. I was like, oh my gosh, not my baby. That I could never, this car and I, we've been through so much together. I could never do that. And then I threw it on Craigslist, and like the nicest old lady on the planet showed up, and I told her it was horrible and told her she shouldn't buy it. And then she did, drove it away.
Wow.
I never found out what happened.
Oof.
Yeah, but Florida doesn't have inspections, so sometimes cheap cars are cheap cars.
I hope she lived through it.
She said she didn't really drive anymore, so it'd be perfect for her.
Good.
Wow. All right.
Yeah, but so anyway, that's maybe one car that I definitely passed on.
So we're loading up a Woody PT Cruiser tomorrow and shipping it to you.
Yep.
Yep.
Non-turbo.
Actually,
Convertible.
Oh.
Convertible.
Oh.
Second thought.
The SRT4 drivetrain goes right in.
Yeah.
Is it really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it does. I'm kind of ashamed I know that, but yeah, I have a buddy who races this.
Really?
Oh,
Races a PT Cruiser, huh?
that is interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's one car that we kind of we bag on it quite a bit because it's so awful, honestly.
That and new Beetles.
And new Beetles.
Yeah, they're not
Interesting.
I don't dislike them as much. I don't want to drive it. I don't want to be seen in it.
Really?
I think they're
But
less awful.
if you
in
put
it.
a new Beetle and a PT Cruiser together, I'm getting in the
I'm
Beetle.
getting in
I'll
the
take Beetle.
Yeah.
I like the new Beetles. Like, I'm not in love with them, but I think they're not that bad looking.
And if it's
That's
a
fine.
diesel version, it's a little less bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also was a Volkswagen technician for a hot minute, so I mean.
Yeah.
there's that.
Okay, fair. So we did a Dieselgate Volkswagen as a project car.
Oh yeah.
So Volkswagen called us. We always had a close relationship with them, and they said, "Hey, are you familiar with the amazing TDI clean diesel technology? We
The cheating
have
system.
an IMSA car, and it's great." And well, they didn't say that part,
Right.
but
Yeah.
they said, "Hey, how would you like a long-term loaner? We've got a new Beetle you could have."
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay, great." So I drove a diesel Beetle for a year or so. I put Hoosiers on it, and I would go to an autocross. I was always late, so I would tech on street tires, and then I would throw the Hoosiers on and pull up to the line and embarrass some people. I'd have people walking
Yeah.
up and going, "What the hell is going on?" It's like, "Oh, it's just a diesel Beetle. I don't know." And then so we did some cool stuff with it. We did a couple track days. We did some minor mods. It was cool.
Those TDIs
And then,
are actually
fun.
pretty peppy of an engine, surprisingly.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
it was not a bad car at all. It had a stick. So then its day to go back to the mothership came due, and Volkswagen said, and I now know this was about a month before all the Dieselgate stuff broke. So Volkswagen knew, but we sure didn't.
Right.
So they said, "Hey, we're still going to come pick up the car on January 1st or whatever it was. Does that still work for you?" We're like, "Yep, no problem." So we took all our parts off. We had it detailed. We made sure we buffed out any little scuffs in the paint or anything, and we parked it in front of the office and got ready for Volkswagen to come take it back. And then an LKQ truck showed up, and the dude in the grungy LKQ junkyard uniform walks up to the door, knocks on the door, and goes, "Hey, I've got a pickup for a Volkswagen." And that brand new, perfectly running car with a couple thousand miles on it went right to the crusher.
Wow.
And knowing what I know
That's
now,
sad.
I'm wondering if they maybe dealt with a little liability right then and there without adding another one to the Dieselgate total.
Yeah.
But, so we watched our perfect, shiny, freshly detailed car go to the junkyard.
Wow.
Oh, man.
That's amazing.
At least it got some fun before it went to the crusher,
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Huh. Well, on that
funny.
note,
On that note,
on that note, Tom, where can people look you up or find you? You got some social medias or anything like that?
yeah, best place is grassrootsmotorsports.com,
Yeah.
or we're on all the social media accounts at Grassroots Motorsports.
Perfect.
Nice.
That's awesome. And I really thank you for your time. It was a great conversation. I'm a subscriber, so I'll be watching for your articles.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for reading, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Thanks
All
a
right,
lot.
thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Well, that was fun.
It was
That
fun.
was good.
Yeah.
Hey, I was looking at his LinkedIn,
Uh-huh.
and it says he's worked 17 years and 1 month at GRM,
Yeah.
and his first 5 years as an intern.
Well,
That's the longest internship ever.
yeah, I mean, his parents owned it, so
Right.
yeah, they were interning him, so they didn't have to pay him.
I love it.
Yeah, poor guy. I feel like I'm getting taken advantage of here.
You are.
Yeah. I think it's worked out for him, though. It sounds like a pretty awesome job.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Now they do some great stuff. A
Yeah.
lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah.
We got to enter that $2,000 challenge. $2,000 challenge.
Well, they're in Florida.
That's even better. We got to go cross country with a $2,000 car.
Oof. Putting it on a trailer there, my friend.
Don't worry, we'll find some kind of Kia that'll last us the whole way.
I got an uncle down in Florida.
Well, then he can pick up the $2,000 car.
He
We'll
will.
fly in and drive it.
He's from Kissimmee, Florida. He's right in the middle.
You know, if it's down in Florida, because I hear there's no inspection down there, there's an Isuzu we can pick up from an old lady.
No, that was
a Mazda, I thought.
or the 240 or something like that. Yeah. She's probably not using it.
She died on the way home.
That's rough. The whole bottom of the car is rusted out.
We'll put some duct tape, call it good.
So we actually kind of touched on this
I saw that, yeah.
talking with Tom, but you know, competing in the Lemons and Chump Car, Lucky Dog racing events as a team, everybody says they want to do it until it comes to actually doing it.
Well, we've said that multiple times.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
Are you hinting at something?
Yes.
You have
Part
news
of it
for us?
is you
what I'm
guys have
getting at.
you guys have a lot of projects already.
I know.
Do you
Yeah.
really want to take on another one?
Yes.
no. Well, I want to do the driving part.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to do the driving, but also the building. I mean, like, as I've been offered to be on teams,
Well,
and my problem is
I think that's why we need to get that ghost car going because that's
Yeah.
a perfect car for almost all of those.
100%.
Yeah.
I think between your projects you've got and I've got, we got to limit that down. The Lamborghini one's the first one, which is
Yep.
going to be done, and then
Right.
you know we got to cross off a couple Corvettes on your list.
Yep.
And Jeremy's got his projects he's working on.
Yeah,
I am
that
working
whole
on
garage
finding
is
one.
empty of projects. I
Well-
think we need to bring a couple over here and park them in his garage.
We
Oh,
parked
yeah,
the
my
ghost
wife will
car
love that.
in here. She won't notice it.
Nah, she'd never even see it. It's a ghost.
Exactly. She'd come in and be like, "What is that?" I can't tell you.
Yeah, it's a ghost. You're not allowed to know.
No pictures.
Can't
No
talk
pictures.
about it. Can't talk about it.
You know. But I agree.
I did actually look up. I think I was on the Lucky Dog site, so I was reading over the rules and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The rules are actually pretty extensive.
Yeah.
So when we go to build the car, we have to have those handy and check them off.
The one I think would be actually obtainable for us and wouldn't be that hard to do is one that Tom brought up. That with they're working on that spec Mustang, we'd be doing that. Because you just buy a stock Mustang, you don't need to do anything
I
to
want to
it.
do something here. Let's go back to the ghost car.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah.
In what episode did we bring that up?
5.
2.
No.
No, it was early.
It was
was
like
early.
5 or 6.
When are you going to work on that?
It's been hinging on that stupid Lamborghini forever.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're into season 2, bro.
I get it.
Yeah. This is show 39.
Yeah.
39.
Okay.
It's been 39 weeks that we've been talking about getting rid of the Lamborghini.
Yeah.
39 weeks. Yeah.
We've had a lot of other
And
things
now
covered.
14 of those weeks you've spent working on a freaking video game.
No, it has been 14 weeks.
It's been like 7.
No.
It's been,
No,
it's
I
probably been 6 or 7
Picked
weeks.
up in November
Uh-huh.
16th.
That's 6 weeks ago.
That's- Okay, 7 weeks. Okay.
Yep.
8 weeks ago.
Yeah. He's right. And I knew that was going to happen when I saw you pick those goddamn things up.
Hey, but it's cool as shit.
It's cool, but
I had
you already
has
have
delayed
3 projects.
I know. I will say we did have, and I put this in a group chat today for our listeners that are listening now. We had a fellow listener come to my shop. They were salesmen, but they were like, "I remember seeing that, and you guys talking about it." And he's like, "I gotta see this,
Oh, the game?
the game."
Yeah.
and they had.
He didn't want to see the Lamborghini. He wanted.
Oh,
to
he
see
knew about the
game.
Lamborghini, but like his friend that came had no idea what he was talking about. He's like, "What do you mean Jurassic Park?" And we opened my shop, and the guy, his friend, starts freaking out. He's like, "Oh my god, it's the thing that's a David Buster's!" And he goes, "Wait, is that a Countach?" And he just starts looking around my shop, and he's like losing his mind. His friend's like, "Hey, over here, pay attention, one at a time, because we're on the time limit. We can only be at so many shops."
So he was super ADHD, just like
Oh,
you.
it was so funny.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah,
that is funny.
yeah.
Got another listener though. There we go.
Oh yeah.
One at a time. We'll just send him over to Grant's shop.
But yeah, no, I know I need to get on that, and we've talked about that. The Lamborghini is getting close, but the main thing that's going to be catching up to it, even after that, is going to be getting on Liger. And Liger this year's, from the list I've come up with, which I thought was going to be minor, is actually turning into a list that's going to actually require me to ship it out to some other people to work on, which is a first for me.
Liger?
Well, the gears, the gearing.
The gearing's going to be one. I need to find a GIF shop that I can.
The thing about that
that.
is that can be a multitask situation. If
But
just
you
get
can drop
pulled,
that out
If you would just get it pulled and shipped out, take it to wherever you're going to take it.
and
I
then
think
work
it's
on
easier to do
something
that
else.
than actually just send the car in.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll drop the price.
Yeah.
Probably by
Considerably.
$1,500 to $2,000.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
that's something I can do then.
Yeah, take it out and take it to wherever you're going to take it and get it done, and you
Yeah.
can work on other stuff while that's
Yeah.
being done.
And that's the thing. It's like with Liger being worked on, because I got that. I got some body panels that need to be painted because I actually want to get some stuff done. It's I will have free time, but I'm trying not to get my hands in so many honey pots that it just
You've
becomes
already
overwhelming.
got your hand into
No.
the
Yeah.
No. I've been
Yes.
focusing on one at a time this last year. I focused on Lamborghini for like 6 months and got to a point that hasn't been at in a long time. And then I kind of distracted and got into the machine. But I've set goals.
If I come out there on Saturday and that thing hasn't made any progress,
Which one?
your Lambo,
Okay.
I'm going to hit you with a hammer.
Why? I got to finish the machine. Yeah.
No. I'm going to
He's
hit
not
you
going
with
to
a
have.
hammer.
There will be no progress on the Lambo
Oh, I know.
I got to
by
put.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Is the motor in it?
Yeah, motor's in it.
Transmission?
Transmission is no, it's not. Is it? No.
That was your story.
That's where you stopped. You
Yeah.
were in the middle of,
I was lathing a new adapter
Yep.
plate for it,
Yep.
and coming through that, and
and then you bought a video game,
bought a
and
video game.
everything stopped, and you forgot where you were.
Okay.
yeah,
So when did you start working on the C10?
I haven't. I bought parts.
You bought parts.
I've been working on the silver Corvette,
Silver Corvette.
and that
Okay, and you've only started doing that since just before
November.
Christmas.
Yeah, it was just before Christmas.
Just before Christmas.
Yep, I picked up the Viper motor in November.
And there was no motor in that thing before Christmas.
Right.
Where's it at now?
I'm putting the exhaust on, ready to start it.
nice. What? What?
Yep.
That's a drop and plug and play. I'm figuring things out.
Drop in, plug and play. Okay. Yeah.
No, you know what he
It's
didn't
taken
do?
me a lot of hours.
I know it is.
He didn't squirrel and go,
Yeah.
I got another project I got to start.
Man, it was tough too. I was. There's projects I've been like. Oh,
I'm just letting the
focus.
listeners know
He's
these
got
guys are
focus.
bagging on
He's
a
got
heavily ADD diagnosed individual right here.
Rob has a
feel personally
C10
attacked.
in the garage with a Viper motor sitting on the floor waiting to go in it, and he hasn't touched it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard.
it is.
Too many projects. Keeping the focus on one is really difficult.
Yeah.
Plus, I've got other crap that's going wrong at the house that I need to fix. Like my
Yep.
freaking shop roof is leaking pretty bad, and I did crawl up there and try to fix some of that, and I may have slowed it down
Is
some.
it
and
shingle or is it metal?
No, it's metal roof,
It's
yeah.
metal.
I made one spot worse, and I maybe made some of it better, but I still need to work on that again. And that's just like,
You pulled the screws, bigger screws.
oh yeah, with
Yeah.
the washers and the
Washers,
whole
yeah.
thing. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's just a sidetrack, right?
Yeah.
Just all that to say that there's other things that
Yep.
I could
Yeah.
pivot, and I need to go do this, right?
It
Nope.
happens all the
Nope, just letting her leak. I'm working on the car.
Put a tarp on it. It'll be fine.
At least you can be happy I didn't
bad.
jump on one of the Fiats. They still haven't been touched.
Well, there is that.
You've got the best piece of real estate in that shop
Yes.
taken up
Yeah.
by a Lamborghini that you're not working on.
I'm working on it.
No, you're not.
Working on it.
No, you're not.
Okay.
He's working on it in his brain, in his mind, thinking about it.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. He's on that. He's on that video game.
Backing up though for competing for an endurance race and
Okay.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're
Let's go back to that.
yeah. Let's
Talk about
let's
getting
stop beating up
sidetracked.
on
Jesus Christ.
all right. But like I was saying, is bringing it full back circle. What we're saying was like a Mustang would be the most sense if we didn't want to put in time into a project and
Yeah.
just something get it go. And for your seat time,
Yeah.
and for me, like if it broke, I know those cars well enough where it wouldn't be that hard to fix something on them. And we have
Well, having one that already runs would be
big.
big.
Huge.
Yes.
That being said, though, the Ghost car makes the most sense for
'Cause
every
it's
other
already
thing.
there.
It's there.
It's sitting there ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not ready
It could
to
be
go.
built
It's
to the specs
sitting there ready for
we
you
want
to touch.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know.
Agreed. Mustang spec car, though. Do we have that spec series here? Because I don't think we do.
We should check into it. I thought it's a nation thing.
It's SCCA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean they run it here.
We can look into it.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, we can.
Because
we totally can.
a GT
And that would
Mustang,
be fun.
You can get, I mean, even if it's a wrecked one, because it doesn't need to be a great one.
No, it doesn't
You
need
can
to be great.
get a wrecked one
Pretty
with
cheap.
a GT motor for like under $6,000, $4,000. I mean, that's with a banged up bumper.
Yeah.
Say.
No, I'm with you. No, I agree. It's
Yeah.
not an expensive ask.
Yeah. You throw some tires on there, new brakes and pads, and those engines, the 4.6s, are really reliable.
Yeah.
You know. So.
But
And what's the
ghost
limit
car.
on
I
a
know.
lemon?
What's the what?
What's the limit on a lemons car?
Oh,
500.
No. Well,
It's 500.
is
total.
it still? I thought
thought
they'd
it was.
raised it.
I don't know. We talked about that on the previous episodes.
Yeah.
Grab your phone, Jeremy.
Nothing that we have currently would qualify for lemons.
No, except for the Lambo.
We could do Chump or Lucky Dog.
Lambo
That
would.
be okay.
I bought that thing for $300. I mean, seriously, no, that
No,
would
I
that
know.
would actually.
It would also
you
fall
have-
apart on track.
Yeah.
So
You have about $1,000 into the drivetrain though.
No, don't.
Suspension, brakes, all that stuff. Well, the brakes don't count, but
It's.
I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
that would be a worthy.
Yeah,
That would be a scary
I'm
car.
just saying, out of all cars that we own, that would be
Understood.
the closest thing that'd be to it.
Yeah.
Fiat maybe.
$500 Fiat.
Yeah, no, I
gutted.
picked the original one that I've been restoring. Picked out for $300 back in the day, and the other one I paid $1,000 for the rebuilt engine with that one too. So yeah, we got technically two cars, but I'm not doing the one I'm spent
Right.
over 12 years restoring into a Lucky Dog race.
Right.
Well, yeah, the yellow one you wouldn't, but
No,
the other one you could.
yeah,
I don't know. I do think the ghost car though. I mean, it's got the suspension, it's got the brakes, it's got the motor. We just need to work on it and get it running, and whatever.
It'd be a good car too.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Well, if there's days where I'm like at the shop working, why don't you head over to Rob's house, start help working on it, Jeremy?
It is not in a place to be worked on.
Okay, good point on that one.
I'm not working in the rain or the cold.
Okay,
Yeah.
I need to clear my shop
And
out.
I'm working toward getting my own project
Okay.
But
True.
until that time,
until that time.
you can bring a trailer over, load it up,
Hey.
take it to his shop,
Oh, hang on.
drop it off.
Without giving too much spoilers
Ooh.
and lore, because Jeremy doesn't know about this, Rob knows about this. There's a possibility in 3 to 5 months, I might have another garage I could put it in, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm excited.
That would
we've
actually
been
be a
talking
great
about that.
place to put
Oh,
it.
this is happening this week.
That would be
Yeah.
a great place to put it because then it'd be right there and you
You're
can
right
work
there,
on it.
and I'd see it every day, and I'd be like, "Wow,
You're gonna have to get more. You're gonna you're gonna have to get more tools.
Yeah. So
Oh,
but
shoot.
Just
it
do
would-
what I did.
It would be that new location would be less than a mile from my shop, so I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I'd just grab tools, come back home.
Small tool bag.
Yep.
You need a small tool bag at home anyway.
Yeah,
And you probably need to start building
You
up
need a
your-
big toolbox at home and fill it.
that's true.
You will.
Yeah.
Matter of
You'll
fact,
do it.
Yeah.
you know the second toolbox I have in the garage?
Mhm.
It's going away this weekend.
Why?
Don't need it.
So you selling it
No, I'm going to give it away or throw it away.
to which one of our lucky listeners?
The one sitting right across from it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you want it, you can come get it.
Okay.
I'm going to empty it out this weekend, and it's got all my household tools and stuff in it.
Mhm.
All that stuff's going into totes so it can go up on the shelves.
So you're not getting another toolbox for it?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. A lot of the stuff in there is probably going to go away. There's a lot of shit screws and busted drill bits and stuff like that in there.
Yeah.
Just
Storage
doing
stuff.
spring cleaning.
Old hacksaw blades.
Yeah. Well, it's good you're doing that. It's definitely it's not a lot of people do that. Go through their shop and actually start getting rid of stuff. So I applaud you for actually.
I have
the time
like
to do
3
that.
sets of tools, so I've already taken one up to my grandma's house
Mhm.
and put them in the Quonset hut up there, so my son has a set of tools.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
And the rest are getting shipped to Alaska.
No, we got a set of tools up there already.
Okay.
Be easier just to buy tools while you're up there, rather
Probably
than,
cheaper too.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Cruise out to Napa and grab a
Yep.
1,000-piece set.
Touch on the last subject. Let's after podcast. Let's get in touch, Rob. We'll make a schedule. I need to come at least out there maybe once a month or more, just to get on that thing. At least put my hands on it and see if we get turned over.
Okay.
Or would you rather have me in my shop working on my stuff?
Well, it's outside right now,
I
so
get
it's not in the best place.
Yeah.
But if you want to come out and futz around with it, I don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Optimally, the best thing to do would be get the Lambo done
Yeah.
and moved out
I get
so
it.
you can put Ghost Car in its place,
yeah.
Ideally.
ideally.
All right. Anyway, that's going nowhere.
Yep.
Let's skip that one.
Okay.
How clean should a shop have to be before you work on your car?
Who's answering that first? Because
I think everybody should answer it.
okay.
I'll answer it first.
Yeah.
Mine goes in phases of project. So I'm actually pretty orderly when I do my projects. I've got these big stainless steel rolling benches. Mm-hmm. So there's 2 of them. And I'll roll one over next to the lift. I've got the car up on the lift. Mm-hmm. All the tools that I use lay out on that so that I don't set them down in some stupid spot and then can't find it, right? Mm-hmm. Every time I set a tool down, it goes on that table.
Yeah.
Okay. The other one is used for parts that I'm either putting on or taking off, Mm-hmm. That way I have someplace to set stuff down.
Okay.
If I start another project, all the tools go back in the drawers. Or when I'm completely done, I won't put the tools off of that bench away until I'm done with the project, because that's basically, those are the tools I'm using, right? So once the project's done, all the tools get put away back in the drawers, blah, blah, blah. And I will clean up the shop, all the area that I need to work in before I start the next project. Mm-hmm. And that's just kind of my routine. I start from a clean shop and mess it up, and then I clean it up again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to agree with that. I try to do a good job of putting all my tools away when I'm done.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what I'm working on, whether it's house related, car related, whatever. Mm-hmm. That being said, I do have a lot of tools. And sometimes, you set them on the bench and forget about them and walk away.
Oh, yeah.
And come back a week later and they're still sitting
they're
there.
still sitting there. Yeah.
I thought I'd leave to go home by then.
But before I start working on a project, I'm like you, man. I'm going to set everything out so I have everything that I need.
Yep.
So I don't have to walk back and forth
Yeah.
to the toolbox and grab every freaking tool one at a time. That just takes too much time and effort,
Yeah.
So I want to have everything I'm using right there,
Ready to go.
Yeah.
Limit the number of times you got to go to the toolbox. I still have to make trips to the toolbox because sometimes you don't know what you're going to run into.
Yeah.
But I don't put that tool back at the toolbox until I've got like 4 or 5 that I'm all done with the wiring. I'll put all my wiring shit away.
Yeah.
Get it out of the way.
And I have a separate toolbox from all my wiring stuff.
Regardless of where it goes, but I don't leave that out if I know I'm done with that.
That's right.
Portion, So yeah.
I have a feeling you guys think I live in a tornado nest.
Yeah, I think
You do. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So that's not true.
Uh-huh.
No, the last time I was at your shop, it was very clean.
It is very interesting how I work on a project. I never start a project unless all my tools are put away first, and every tool is cleaned. Like brake cleaner, soap bar, everything's gotta be perfect.
Yeah.
And then everything comes out. It could be as a chaotic mess while I'm working on the project, like things scattered around of it.
Yeah.
But then at the end of it, or every week, if a project goes on longer week, everything gets put away and then back out. It has to go in phases.
Yeah.
So that way I know where everything's at, because once things start getting to the point where it gets chaotic, then you're spending more time searching for tools and whatnot.
Yeah, that's that in between part that I try to avoid by putting everything on that one rolling cart, so I know where it's at. Because if I go into the chaos mode where I set something down, I roll out from under the car, now I'm looking for that same tool, and I don't know where I put it down.
Yep.
That chaos drives me insane. I can't do that, so I have to physically put everything in the same spot.
Yep. That being said, though, when it comes to not cleanliness, but organization.
Yeah.
So my shop has a good amount of stuff where things are set.
Yeah.
Like I've got shelf space with just all sorts of Ford parts on it. Mm-hmm. They're separated to excursion parts, F-150 parts, Explorer parts, all different types of knickknacks I could be using in different projects. I got drawers with Fiat parts and some with Lambos. They're all marked out what they are. So everything has its organization.
Good organization, yeah.
But it also, for the untrained eye, you come in and it looks like, why is everything kind of thrown all together?
But you know where it's at.
I know where it's all at, and I got a system for that. Now, there are places where it's like, well, it's a bunch of paperwork. Where are they? I'm like, I don't know, just can't figure it out and got overwhelmed. Or I've got bins of bolts. Because, I've got organized bolts all, and then they're stacked where they go and stuff, but then I I don't know what this is, and we'll just fill it up with the knickknacks. And if I need that weird
everybody
shape,
has one of those.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So the organization is the biggest thing for me before starting a project because I'm unlike you guys. I'm very ADD. I'm very scatterbrained. Squirrel. And because I've learned how to deal with my handicapness, and to try and limit how much. I don't know how you'd say it.
Well, you know what you're dealing with. Your own ADHD. You understand that you can get scatterbrained or overwhelmed with it. So you've figured out. Yeah, you've figured out how to work through it, or work around it, and make the best of. So give yourself the best opportunity to not be disorganized.
Now, I will say the other big thing is, I'm my shop is where construction companies at, and so I work on a lot of dirty equipment and stuff. Mm-hmm. And Jeremy can attest to this, though. The other big thing I do before every project is my shop is swept and it is clean. Mm-hmm. Because I don't I may be used to if I'm outside in the dirt, and I get that. If I'm in the shop, I don't want to be on dirt then. I want to try to keep it as clean as possible because I know I'm going to be covered in oil by the end. I know there's going to be muck coming off of whatever I'm working on, whether it's a car or a truck or an excavator or whatever. And that's getting on me, but I don't want to have it where if that's the case, and that's only one, do that a dozen times a week. Do it, 100 times a year. Yeah. How much is that going to add up in your shop? I'd rather not have a giant pile. I'd rather get it all out, start fresh, and then go from there.
Yeah, I try to keep the shop floor very clean. Yeah. It's always swept because you drop something, especially something small, screw, circlip, something like that, which I did lose one the other day. I have no idea where it went. If the floor is dirty, good freaking luck.
I can find it.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I do?
What?
I don't sweep.
Take an air gun, don't you?
I leaf blow it out.
Yeah, I use my leaf blower on occasion too, but mostly especially this time of year. Yeah. Leaf blower is not practical. You're just blowing dust around.
Yeah.
So I'll sweep it out the door.
I open the big bay door. I blow everything out of the front.
Yeah.
What's your guys? I know you have it in there. What's your guys' thoughts on cobwebs?
I don't have any.
Cobwebs.
None. How do you prevent that?
I don't have any spiders.
Oh, good point. So, for me,
too cold.
I don't know. Seriously though, I don't have any cobwebs. I don't know why.
Wow. Because in my shop, I've got my ceilings are probably 25, 30 feet tall.
Yeah, yours are a bit taller. Mine's only, 15?
And I know there's some 16? Webs up there every so often. And it's not, if it's at eye level, of course, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
But the upper stuff, maybe I get a cherry picker to get to that.
Yeah.
It's it's there. It bugs me. I do the best I can. But has that bugged you guys where it's
I wouldn't worry about it if it was in the rafters. At my house, I think I have 15-foot ceilings.
Okay.
If there's a big spider web or something in a corner, I will throw a towel at it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise,
try to knock it down.
Yeah, if it's within broom reaching distance, it's coming out of there.
Yeah.
You guys ever had mice in your shop?
Rats.
Strangely, knock on wood, I don't have any in my shop. I've had a few up in my house garage and just trapped them, got rid of them.
Okay. When you do spot a mouse or a rat or something like that, you realize it's in your house, and even if you've taken care of them, do you guys go any steps beyond okay, mouse, rat's gone, everything's fine? For me, if I see that, everything's gone through. I want to make sure there's no nest being built. I want to make sure no wires being chewed out. Mm-hmm. Especially the cars. I've had it where Liger had a mouse made a home in the intake on one winter, which I was expecting, and I ripped everything out from the firewall back. I ripped half the inch, but I want to make sure there was nothing in there that was okay, things are broken.
Yeah.
I
haven't had to go through that, thankfully, because like I said, for some reason there's nothing in the shop. But if I start seeing leavings, well, I don't have any cats, but
I would get one.
I would too. Yeah, I would totally be down for that for a shop cat or whatever. But I started seeing droppings and stuff up in my garage, up in my house, and I was like, okay, so we got some mice. And went and got the traps, trapped a bunch of mice out. Finally, not trapping anything, so I know that they're gone. So I'll go through and I'll vacuum all the corners and behind all the shelves and cupboards and stuff just to clean it all up. That way, if it starts happening again, that okay, that's fresh.
Yeah,
because I had everything cleaned up. So yeah.
What about you, Jeremy?
So I have rat traps out all the time because the rats were so bad here last summer. I think it was end of July, something like that. I was walking through the backyard and there were 9 rats out in the middle of the day.
9.
So,
Jeez.
I mean, you can guarantee there's probably 3 times that amount that were hidden.
Yeah,
But
neighborhoods are bad for that for some reason.
So partially my fault. I love feeding the birds, and I had 2 bird feeders out, and I have the fat with the bird seed and stuff in it. That the birds love. I had those out, and they were
chowing down.
And they were having a smorgasbord. Of bird food
for sure.
And I ended up having the pest company come out and put a couple of
just traps down,
poison traps out. Yeah. And they've come out and had to refill them a few times. And I caught a couple of them with the pellet gun.
Yeah.
And I bought a couple other traps. I really like the snap traps.
Yeah. I prefer those.
Snickers bars.
Oh, yeah? They like those?
Like amazing.
Oh.
And they stick to the thing really well.
Yeah.
The bad thing is once you get one, the rest of them will come eat the rest of the Snickers bar off.
Yeah.
So, you gotta
stay
check them every day.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you guys ever had problems with squirrels?
Yes.
Like in your shop or anything?
Not in the shop.
Okay.
Outside, yes.
Yeah. Can they affect your shop? I know, I've heard people saying that squirrels are
with rats
in some areas. I've quoted squirrels as being these friendly little woodland creatures.
Right. I've never. I mean, they could chew on wiring and that kind of stuff. I've never seen them do that or heard of that, but I know my dad had a bunch of squirrels at his place at one point, and they'll fill stuff with pine cones. And,
that I've seen.
And they will. He had his boat trailer, packed it full of pine cones. Mm-hmm. It wasn't hurting anything, but, it's a kind of a funny discovery. You're like, what in the heck? So they will find places to put their treasures.
So, we have a C600 that we've talked about a few times on the show, the old 55.
Right.
And I remember when I moved that, the entire exhaust, all, 20, 15, completely to the brim.
Full.
With just nuts.
Oh, yeah.
I could not believe something could be that packed that far.
Sure. Yeah, so that's kind of an issue, I guess, with squirrels.
Yeah.
And maybe they chew on stuff. I'm not really sure.
Do they make exhaust plugs then, for people who leave their cars outside?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you could find something. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got to remember to take it off.
I don't know if they make them, but you can.
I wonder if it's something someone would recommend to do, say if they live in Bend or.
Gosh, if you have a lot of squirrels, I would recommend it. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Little 3D printer action.
Or heck,
you can get those rubber plugs that go over the rubber caps.
I got a barrel
PVC.
Put a balloon over it or glove.
There you go.
Yeah, a glove would work.
Because it doesn't need to. It just needs to deter them. Not
right.
If it needs to stop.
Well, if they have food in there, they will chew through the glove to get in there.
True, but if they can't see, there's a hole there.
If there's no food in there, they're not going to chew through it probably to put their food in there.
Right. You wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. No, that's a good thought.
Yeah.
Not really. Yeah. Darn it. Rodents are kind of a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
They're a pest.
They are. Rodents are a pest. Pests are rodents. Mm-hmm. All right then. Actually, I'm going to go back to it. Will the show Top Gear ever be replaced?
Yes.
It kind of has.
Here's the thing is, I think Top Gear in some regards has been replaced.
Yeah.
But
what was the name of their new show? The one that they did?
Grand Tour.
Grand Tour, right.
But it depends on the audience's opinion. I would argue and say absolutely. Most people think that Car Trek with Freddie Tavares, I'm blanking, Ed Bullion, and who is the third one that I can't think? Hoovie. Mm-hmm. Tyler Hoovie.
Yeah.
That those three, what they're doing would be considered the next Top Gear. And I think they do a really good job, but
sort of.
Yeah.
But they're individual.
No, they team up and do.
Did they do a team up?
There's a whole series called Car Trek.
Oh, okay.
And it's I think right now they're on
to look that up.
9 episodes, are about 2 hours long per thing, and they go through Top Gear situations. That was their whole point. They've talked about it multiple times.
All right, cool.
That being said, though, I could see people saying, "Oh, this isn't Top Gear because you can't replace Jeremy or whatever, or James May."
Well, okay.
And I feel like what's going to happen in the upcoming years and now is we're never going to replace Top Gear, but there will be shows that are like Top Gear and feel it, and they'll eventually become their own thing that people say.
I think they should become their own thing. Don't try to copy what they did.
Yeah.
It was a good show, and I enjoy it, and I like those guys. I think they're funny together. You know, they're three different wits, kind of. They mesh, but they don't. You know,
us.
and they're and their arguments are kind of funny. I don't know. It's good. I don't think anybody should try to copy it. Do your own thing. Similar.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing a car-related show, and you're getting into these scenarios and situations. That's entertaining. People like to see that stuff. I like to see that stuff. Don't try to be the same.
Yeah.
That'll never work.
Well, even
because you'll just get criticized for it. Just do your own thing.
And that's tough because say do your own thing, right? That's Family Guy did a very kind of meta thing. Family Guy is Family Guy comedic family thing, you know.
Yeah.
They did the same thing the Simpsons did, and then the Flintstones.
Yeah.
And in the one episode, they all reference each other and go through all that. Where
But
it's just
they all did their own. But they were their own thing, though.
The same base core idea,
Genre.
but their own
Yes.
yes twist on it.
Exactly. Yes. You can't get away from that. It's the same idea as Top Gear,
Yeah.
but it's your own spin on it, your own interactions on it. You can't, don't try to copy it. Just you can do the same idea.
Yeah.
Just go do it your own way.
Yeah, like us, three guys in a room talking about cars.
10,000 other podcasts that do the same thing.
Yeah.
And thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, I agree. And that's, I think, what makes it cool. Go ahead and do that show. I'll watch it. If you're entertaining, why not?
Do you guys watch any of the project car shows?
Yes.
Which
Roadkill.
ones? Like the ones on
seen them
TV,
in a
you mean?
while.
Yeah.
I used to.
no.
I haven't watched any of those in quite some time. But
I don't
on
have-
occasion, I'll stumble across one and I'll watch it.
I don't have TV anymore.
What was that one with
Netflix?
I don't have Netflix anymore.
Grass Valley, whatever, Rust
Valley
Valley
Restorations?
yeah.
I saw that guy at
Yeah, I saw
SEMA.
him. Yeah, he was there.
So I watched that one. Mm-hmm. I've watched recently. I went back and watched a bunch of the Gotham Garage ones.
Yep, seen a bunch of that.
What's the other one? Tex-Mex
I don't know.
or something like that.
don't
So
know
there's
that one.
there's a crew that goes down into Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
buys cars and brings it back to
Cool.
the U.S. and builds them.
Yeah,
Usually they get them for really good prices
I'm sure.
and then
Yeah.
build pretty nice cars out of them.
Yeah.
I wonder how they're getting them across the border and what kind of import fees they have to pay. or
So
whatever,
most of them are over 25 years old.
so it doesn't.
So they don't have the, so they
Duties.
can import them.
Sure.
And
Okay.
there's no duties and stuff like that. And then, with the Mexican title, they can.
Some of those
Retitle.
shows I think are pretty decent. Some of them are a little bit. They seem a little fake.
Yeah.
Their timelines are always full of shit. But
Way aggressive.
yeah, and that's all made for TV, whatever. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of them I think are pretty good.
Yeah.
They're entertaining, and that's all it's there for. Entertaining.
Yeah.
A little bit of car entertainment.
Well, entertainment, sometimes it can be educational. Like, there's
there's
so
an
many
occasion.
things I've taken from Top Gear to actually in real life. We bought our first Toyota because of the Hilux episode they did,
Oh yeah.
When we need a truck that can get to point A to B and be indestructible. And I'm like, I told my old man, I was like, look at this.
Yeah.
Watch this video. He's like, yeah, we need to get one of those then. I'm like, okay. Top Gear, I feel like it's a show that, like we talked about, it's going to be replaced. But I feel like Top Gear itself is one of those shows that hits a generation and leaves a mark. Kind of like Overhauling did. Kind of like
Yeah.
Roadkill did. Like, when you say these names, people immediately know what that is. There's always something that comes later after that was like, oh, this thing that people imagine when you say cars.
Yeah. I think the reason for that is it was the first.
Yeah.
And if it were the first and they didn't do a good job, it wouldn't have made as big a mark. But
Top
it was,
Gear?
yeah.
Top Gear wasn't first. Fifth Gear came
UK.
before that.
Huh?
Fifth Gear came before that.
Well, didn't it have Top Gear Europe first?
So Fifth Gear came first, which featured Jeremy Clarkson and another cast.
All right.
And then it became classic Top Gear, and I think Fifth Gear and Top Gear existed at the same time in the 90s,
Oh.
and then it became in the 2000s what we know as Top
I
Gear.
never even heard of Fifth Gear.
Yeah,
I haven't either.
it's. I'll show you.
So my point being, it's the one that it was a hit, right?
Yeah,
Everybody knew it because it was good.
Yeah.
If you do the same show, Fifth Gear perhaps, that isn't as good, it doesn't take off. Nobody knows it.
yeah,
Right? So I guess that's my point is it's iconic because it was the first one that was, recognizable. It was good. It was entertaining. Everybody liked it, whatever.
yeah,
So hard to replace that.
yeah.
And everybody is going to compare the next ones to that because that was like the good show.
Well, that's the other thing is Top Gear tried replacing Top Gear when Top Gear was Top Gear.
Yeah.
We had the UK with Jeremy Clarkson, James May, and Richard
Right,
Hammond.
right.
At the same time, they tried doing America Top Gear
Right.
with Chase, and I can't remember who the other two guys were.
I know because you know why? Because it wasn't that good.
And I'll
Tanner
get to
Faust was on it.
Tanner Faust.
Yeah.
We should get him on the show. That'd be fun to have him on. And then we also had Australian Top Gear as well at the same time.
Oh, I don't recall that.
And then I think it was very short. I think only about a season.
Yeah.
And after all that went through and the main core Top Gear gang left, they tried doing another UK one with Matt LeBlanc.
Oh. Was Matt LeBlanc on that?
Matt LeBlanc was on that. And then
I
it
seem to
was,
remember that, yeah.
what's the guy?
Yeah, they tried to get a new cast for the
There was
same
three
show.
guys.
Yeah.
And they were all very good car guys and race car guys. I don't know why I didn't watch that. I just feel like
It's out there.
they were.
brush up
I
on
think individually they're very interesting car people.
it. Yeah.
But they didn't have the same chemistry. Finding
Yeah.
that lightning in the
It's that-
bottle
that
is
chemistry.
hard to hit.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
You know, the other issue with Top Gear and so Top Gear USA and Top Gear Australia, why those didn't take off is because you could watch Top Gear, the original, in America.
Yeah.
And probably in Australia.
Yeah.
Why would you watch the other ones that weren't, they were okay. They weren't terrible. They were okay. But the other one was just the original and better.
It depends on where you're at. Like for me, my introduction to Top Gear was all from YouTube in the early days of YouTube. I actually don't know when I originally started seeing some Top Gear episodes. I think it was eventually brought to on demand.
Yeah, I think that's where I got
And
it.
then
Was on demand.
at some point, it depends if it didn't have it or not, or if you didn't have cable, people wouldn't know about that. They'd see what's on the History Channel, and they'd see, oh, look, the Top Gear guys are going into Chicago. Well, those aren't Top Gear guys.
No.
Who are these people?
Yeah, who are they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I remember some of the episodes I saw from that, it felt with the U.S. History Channel Top Gear felt not natural and a lot of unrealistic scripted stuff. Now, granted, and they've gone on record saying this Top Gear UK was very scripted.
It was.
90% of it was.
Yep.
But they did it so seamlessly, it felt like it was natural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I've heard some interviews with those guys, and they left a lot of non-scripted content in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they would just come up with stuff or whatever, and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Some of their best content was probably non-scripted.
possibly. Yeah.
What's some of your guys' most memorable episodes?
I don't know. I always watched for the driving segments when they would either drive against the Stig. I enjoyed that. Anytime they would they would buy cheap cars and drive them across country.
That was
always
favorite.
good.
I always liked it when they did that.
The Italian one. That
When
one
they
stuck in my
would
mind.
do off-road challenges and stuff like that. Or I remember them hooking up I don't know if it was a Yugo or a Fiat or what, to a catapult and threw that. That was freaking awesome.
Do you remember the Trolley My Ride one?
No.
They took an old Mercedes and put a fireplace and a
Oh,
big
really?
comfortable chair and a teapot and the whole 9 yards.
Funny. No.
Curtains. That was one of my favorites.
My most memorable one. I always like their road trip ones when they be a whole episode just going point A to B and going the challenges.
Yeah.
The most memorable one to
like
me was
those.
the cheap Italian car where there was the Marac, the
Yep.
Lamborghini, and the Ferrari 308.
Yeah.
And then just some of where they could take cars and see how could we push the limits. Whether it was a build like their amphibious cars, building a Toyota Hilux into a boat or turning,
Yeah.
some of these caravans. They'd be like, how extravagant can we make a motorhome from just a Mini Cooper or a car or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, I always like their challenges as well. More like when they would have a budget. They've got €4,000, go buy a car. We have to drive it across the country, however many, 10,000 kilometers or something,
I will say one thing that Top Gear UK has done better than any other car show. I'll say this that it's done better than any other car show, even to modern day history right now, is that when they did review a car, it would still be entertaining to this day. You can watch a car.
I watch their reruns all the time.
2004, and maybe an 8-minute segment. But the fact is that you can watch and get excited for a car that maybe not have the best technology compared to nowadays, may not be the best horsepower, but they got you fired up and see what that car could do in its capabilities.
It seemed realistic too, because even though Jeremy Clarkson can be kind of an ass, and that's his persona, right, for the show, it's great. It plays well. He can give you 12 things about a car that just suck. And at the end of each, like, yeah, but I still love driving it, And that's kind of cool to be like kind of brutally honest, like it steers really bad, it brakes horrible, it's super loud inside, but damn, it's fun to drive.
It's a Ferrari. You can't say that. It's a Ferrari.
Yeah.
It's a piece of shit.
Yeah. You can't say that.
Anything I want.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I
understeers and drives like a pig.
Yeah. I don't know. It's an enjoyable show. I still watch the reruns, and I watch some of the Grand Tour stuff. It's actually pretty decent as well.
I still need to watch the final episode of Grand Tour.
I
saw one of the scenes from it. It actually, last 5 minutes of it, I've seen, and it actually
did it make you cry?
Yeah, no, legitimately, and because they bring it back all the way to the first episode of Top Gear.
Oh yeah,
I'll just say that and leave it at that. So no spoilers, but wow, that was heart tugging.
Huh?
Yeah,
interesting.
Good.
No, I haven't gotten to the end of it. So, no, that's pretty cool. So, I don't know. I hope they keep trying because I enjoy those kind of car shows. It would kind of suck if they just, no, we can't do it. You can't remake that. You can't follow that,
I think you should give Car Trek a watch. And I would recommend
I'll give it a shot.
Listeners. I think they do a pretty damn good job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll watch it. Yeah, that's cool. I don't spend a lot of time surfing YouTube and looking for that kind of stuff or anything. I don't spend a lot of time watching TV, so there's that. And I never really think to look for that stuff, but I'll look for it.
Mine's all done from listening nowadays. I'm too busy with projects, so I can.
Well, I've got that TV in the garage. I'll put it on out there for sure.
You're just gonna have a wrench in the hand, another hand in an engine bay, and just staring at the TV for 3 hours, and then be
probably, and that's all right. I could do that. Okay. All right, we'll jump into that. Have you? Oh no, not have you. If you have.
If I have?
I got a little...
Have I never?
I got a little dyslexic there for a second.
Okay.
If you have a special or rare car.
Okay.
Should it be put into a museum?
It belongs in a museum!
For the public to see or kept in a private collection?
Jeremy, you
away from viewing eyes.
So, depends on how much money you have.
All the money in the world. What does that matter?
I mean...
If you've got... the most expensive cars out there, the most rare 250 GTO Ferrari, those are super rare.
I've got a comment
on
that.
Or a GL, what is it? The GL 250 Goldwing.
Yeah,
I got a comment on that too.
So if
do you keep it in your private collection so nobody knows where it's at and where you can see it?
Part of the time you send it out to a museum for a loaner.
Okay.
But not everybody's car collection is for,
Agreed.
Not everybody's car collection.
I could get on board with the some of the time viewing. I could get on board with that. Some car collections are so massive, and they're massively expensive, obviously, the more rare the vehicles get. But they're so awesome. Nobody ever gets to see them.
Have you been to the Tacoma Car Museum yet?
Peterson.
No.
Is that a Peterson museum or is that a?
It's the one where I-5.
Yeah.
I've always wanted
right
to go
next
there.
to the Tacoma Dome.
Well, let's make a trip up there and go see.
So, My understanding is a lot of those cars rotate out.
Yeah, they're on loan.
Once a quarter.
A lot of them are on loan. I've actually had a good amount of friends who've left their cars there.
Honestly, there's a lot of museums that do that, and I really appreciate that. I think that's great, for private collectors to loan it to a museum for a couple months, whatever their stint is. I can, like I said, I can get on board with that type of collection. Yeah, I've got these really cool cars. People should see them. But there are those cars that have been lost and gone for 40 or 50 years. They're in somebody's private collection, and they're not letting anybody see it.
I got so much talk on.
I know
this.
you.
I'll let you guys
you do.
go first because I'll be able to stop.
I'll stop you.
Okay.
There's so many collections like that. I mean, even like the photos that just came out of Dubai, right?
Yeah.
The Sultan of Brunei, his collection is dumb.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's also unfortunate because
Thousands
it's
of
rotting away.
Let me first preface that both sides.
Yes.
And what I think.
All right.
I can understand why someone would want to have a very rare and special car and keep that privately because of anything to happen to that, whether it's damage, whether it's stolen, whether it's something of that nature. Sure. And I can understand that.
Yes.
On the flip side,
yes,
I feel like if it's not shown or preserved,
what's the point?
What's the point?
Exactly.
Having people go through that.
Yep.
For me, I would rather have a car be shown and known about because it shows what's been done. It shows innovation. It shows the falls and the highs and lows of the auto industry.
Yeah.
It shows art at its worst looking and at its best looking.
And its best, yeah.
I
mean, the history, and like you said, art, a lot of those old cars, but like more specifically, their artwork.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, the one-of-a-kinds or the super rare of any brand. It doesn't have to be necessarily Ferraris or whatever, but
it doesn't even need to be a rare car. It could be a unique car.
Yeah.
Like the
well, often unique is rare.
Well, like the Whittington Brothers Porsche 993s, I think 911s.
Yeah.
Those were hidden in the collection until I can't. What's his name? John Ficarra was working on that on them, and they found a small hole in the bottom. No one else will know about that because if you see a normal one, there's no hole there. Why is there a hole there? Talking to the older mechanics who worked on the Whittington Brothers teams, that was where they kept the nitrous bottle when they were cheating.
No.
That's the thing is these cars, when they're rare, and I'm going to also just say this real fast. I'm hoping I got the Whittington Brothers right. There's a story on that. I don't want to, misinformation, but let's just, for sake, say this.
Okay.
There are cars out there that are unique because of the situation done or what they did. Like the OJ Bronco. Mm-hmm. There's things about it that no other Bronco or no other car will be that way. And it should be shared so that the public can see, okay, this is why they did this. This is what was different about this versus the other ones. I
don't know how that plays into the OJ Bronco, but okay.
Because it's different than every other Bronco.
Why?
Because it was used in a getaway.
In a slow chase.
Yeah.
No.
In a low speed chase.
Well, there might be things like you wouldn't see in that car, and I have no idea.
That's fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
that was a bad example, but
I just don't know if that super rare car needs to be on display all the time.
No. And it probably doesn't need to be, but at least brought to the public's eye every once in a while.
I like the once in a while.
I like the
idea.
once in a while thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm down with that.
Most of the time it can sit in my entryway and I can look at my piece of art.
I know we've talked about this in previous episodes. I'm going to just touch on this very briefly. Okay. One of my biggest arguments is classic Ferraris. Classic Ferraris passed in the 50s and up. A lot of them were unique, one-off built boutique ones. They get the engine, you get the suspension, you get the general body.
Yep.
But like, for example, the Super Americas, every single one was custom-made to the customer. Every single car says they're handmade. Some of them would be just a little bit different here and there. So the reason I collect all these older books from the 60s, 70s, 80s is because these cars were brand new then. You would see cars that would never have been seen, and like, this is what they look like. And nowadays, people wouldn't see that one-off car, even though they built 400. Well, guess what? That one has now like pop-up headlights that the other ones didn't, or was the egg-shaped one because it had more of a back curve. And people have these cars, put them in a collection or in a family collection. They hide them away, and they won't be seen for 80, 90 years until that individual dies or passes it to another private collection.
Right.
And it's nice to know there's some media out with it, but it'd be nice to actually see this in person and be like, okay, I've got pictures, I've got this. Let's actually see what this looks like. Let's see, the sound of it. Like, how many people could say they've heard a 1955 250 California special? Well, okay, not 55. But anyways, Ferrari V12.
Yeah.
Not everyone can say that. Mm-hmm. In the museum, you probably won't hear it, but they might have a special day. We're going to fire it up once. Or at historical races. You hear those cars go up,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes. The Goodwood.
Yeah. So I'm on favor. They should be on display. Not all the time. It would be, every once in a while it'd be good too. But I think it's important to show and bring out the history.
Okay. I think we're all on the same page, honestly. Fair enough.
I will say this, though, real briefly. I have had friends who've had very, very, very rare and valuable cars. Some cars that have been like, there's no price on them. And bringing them to car shows was difficult because of the rarity on there.
Yeah, I'm not saying bringing them to car shows is a good idea, especially the super rare stuff, because stupid shit happens.
Even if it's a museum, like when we brought it, for example, to a car show, we had to have private security and security 24/7 because, like, if this car, say someone came tonight, threw it on a flatbed and shipped it overseas, it would never be seen again. Yeah. It was a one of one.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's a lot less likelihood of the car being stolen or damaged or vandalized, whatever, in the museum instance.
Yes.
A lot of those are much more secure. There's security involved. Now,
someone's maybe not in 60 seconds.
Yeah, maybe not as secure as it should be for a car that's a one of a kind or something like that. In those instances, I don't know what you do. It would be nice to be able to see them once in a while, but I also understand that there are risks. So I don't know. It's kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yeah.
So somewhere back in, I don't know, maybe somewhere episode 10-ish.
That was a while ago.
It was a long time ago.
Okay.
We talked about Bronco. And that kind of stuff, right? Talked to Ian, like he used to have one at one point, and I had said that I eventually want to get one of those.
I wanted to get one. I still want to get one.
Yeah. Well, I got one. Yes, sir.
My wife was asking if it was Grant's.
No. Yep. Picked it up on Sunday.
Nice.
Yeah. And I've got just over 700 miles on it already.
Which one?
Thing is sick.
I got the Badlands.
Okay.
Yeah.
Four-door,
it's got
right?
the Badlands 4-door with the Sasquatch package. So it's got the 35-inch with the extended suspension. It's got the skid plates on the bottom and that kind of stuff. And
I was looking outside
extra tow hooks.
Very briefly. It has the hard top, Greg. You can go
it
with
does,
the soft top.
Yeah. No, I did not want a soft top on that.
Okay.
And the reason I got the Badlands, basically it has the same package as like the Wild Track or the, what is the next? I don't know. There's another one that basically the same package, but the interior is all one color. The Wild Track has a two-tone interior, and so does the other one. It's like one of them's a brown and black. The other one's a black and gray, and I just didn't like that. So this one's all black interior.
Nice.
I love the thing. It's super nice. Every time I look at it, I smile.
How's the sound of it? I haven't heard one fire up yet.
It's fine. It's V6, 2.7 with the turbo. I talked to you.
Boost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's got enough power to get out of its own way. So it's okay. But it takes a little getting used to because I was driving my diesel truck, 6.7. You got all the power you want.
You still have the 6.7, right?
Oh, yeah, I didn't get rid of it. That's my tow
He
rig.
still has to tow.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, I mean, after driving it for this last week, I'm like, yeah, this thing would be badass with a little 302 in it.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool. It'd be really cool.
Ooh, a 5.0 would be
It would be
nice.
interesting to have you drive it 6 months, and then get your view on a Raptor version, just even if it's for a week.
No, if I could drive a Raptor version. Now that's
I know
is
a
that
guy.
a 3.0 or a 3.5?
That one's actually no, it's a 3.0 twin turbo.
Okay.
Yeah, they input
It's still a
It's like-
V6 though.
the V6.
Yeah.
It makes 400 horses.
Yeah.
No, it makes 300 something, but they just put a tune where it makes
This one's-
400.
I don't know. The 2.7s, they say it's 310.
Is that- Here, let me check.
Yeah. And I think the Raptor version is at 400 or something.
Yeah.
It's close to that.
I know a guy.
And does he have one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I really like it. I'm loving the thing.
Raptor's 418 horses
Okay.
for 2024.
Yeah. It just feels, it's fun to drive. It feels good. I like the looks of it. I really like the looks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're good looking rigs.
Yeah.
2.7 is 330 horses.
Pretty stoked with it.
You've got more horses. More horses.
330?
Yeah, and 415 pounds of torque. You got way more torque and power than Liger does.
I like that you got it with the 35s.
Yeah.
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 Is it noisy?
That's a good size.
Not bad.
That's surprising.
Not bad at all, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you can hear the tires a little bit. They're the Goodyears. I can't remember what model.
Yeah.
But it's not, I didn't think it's bad at all.
Does
Yeah.
the F350 get better gas mileage?
No.
Fuel mileage?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
surprising.
I'm sitting at like 19.2 right now. Yeah.
And that's combined.
Yes.
Huh? That's
Yeah.
impressive, actually.
Right. But honestly, I would 17.5 to 18 in my truck. So it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
that far off.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you jump on the freeway and you're,
You brought up the
right up
302.
to 21.
You brought up the 302 earlier. I think that's the one thing that truck's missing.
I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
It would be fun. I could see having that instead of the turbo,
Because you have instant
having
power.
that instant, a little bit of grunt, because it doesn't have any grunt really.
Yeah.
It's got the 10-speed automatic. I didn't want to have to shift it. This is my daily, people. I'm not into
I
the.
do appreciate that
Manual.
Ford offered in a manual, though.
I do appreciate that they
really
offered it in a manual.
But
Yes,
I feel like that's a car.
for the right
if
people.
you're doing it for a daily, the automatic would be better.
Yeah, because I just want to drive where I'm driving, drink my coffee, and not worry about it.
Yep.
Stop and go traffic sucks. in a
Sometimes take your
manual.
top off and the
Yeah, it
top
does.
of the car.
It's got the removable top, all that, and my top. No, nobody wants to see that. The 10-speed is interesting though because it shifts through 3 gears before I'm at 30 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. I'm like, why? Why are we doing this?
Fuel efficiency.
I guess, yeah. And maybe
'cause it
if
doesn't
you're
make
actually
power.
if you're actually off roading, you can use it in low gears. So
yeah.
there's that.
Do you plan on taking off road at all?
No, God no.
Be a pavement queen?
Pavement queen. It'll get
He might hit a gravel parking lot every once in a while.
it'll get to the snow. I am not trying to fool anybody about how I'm going to drive this car.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it is. Like I said, it's my daily. Okay, and I will take it to the snow because Ford has really good smart off road or 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
So it'll work great there.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is, it's not all time 4-wheel drive either.
Yeah.
It's 2-wheel drive, rear wheel drive right now. I can put it in all wheel if I want.
Can I ask you guys? This is one, actually, both of you are here. This is one question I've been trying to figure out and haven't been able to find the answer online. I was told growing up, 4-wheel drive, if you're in low, it's only to 15 miles an hour, and high, you're only supposed to take to 45. That was on older Excursions and Explorers. Is that still the same
No.
today?
No.
So
how
low,
high can
low range, you still don't want to go very fast.
Yeah.
It's not made for going fast.
No, you're going to wind out. You'll see it on the tack anyway. So
But high range, you can run it at freeway speeds.
yeah,
Yeah, but what's freeway speeds? Freeway speeds
65,
70,
75.
80.
I don't know. I don't.
I wouldn't do 80 or 100. But
Yeah, I don't know why you'd even put it in 4-wheel drive to go that fast. But
I don't know. I'm
yeah.
just saying, what Arizona's 85, I think. I'm
Yeah.
just
I don't know if they're really 85.
yeah, I
Are
think
they?
posted.
yeah. I think it's supposed. I'm just saying, what is it capable of for a new one? Because I'm always worried if you have it in 4-wheel drive and activate, are you gonna start wearing out the axles on the front more?
Well, you
yeah,
don't
you
want.
will.
Yeah, you don't want to drive it on drive pavement in 4-wheel drive.
Yeah.
There's a certain amount of wear that your rear diff has that your front doesn't have. So you need a little bit of slip.
Mm-hmm.
So wet pavement at a minimum, gravel, ice, or snow. That's where you want it.
What if you're at a light and there's a guy in the cocky Mustang
No.
next to you and you
You
want
do you, bro.
I wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't either. But
You're putting too much pressure on it. I wouldn't do it.
You go ahead.
Yeah.
Yours is still under warranty.
Yeah, it's
do
red for a reason.
Yeah.
Speaking of color,
They don't
Rob?
slip tires anyway.
Azure blue.
Azure.
Azure gray, actually. It looks blue. It's a blue gray.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was that your number one choice for color?
Yes.
What was your second choice of color?
Silver.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see that immediately? Like, I have to have it in this color.
I mean, I've been shopping for this thing for 8 months.
I mean, is there a color that Ford didn't offer that you would have loved to see it in? So I meant to say.
No.
Okay, that's special then. That's awesome that you found your color.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel actually really lucky that I did. Because, when you go car shopping, you're just like, all right, what's available? What colors are there? I really liked this blue-gray color. And I'd seen it on the road, that color. And I was like, man, I do really like that. But I wanted to see it up close. And then when I did get up close to it, I'm like, yep, that is the one I want for sure. The other color was the silver, like the bright silver. Harder to find that color.
Really?
That was like my second choice. Third
Like
choice
the
would have
titanium
been
silver, right? Or the gunmetal silver.
No, that would have been my third choice. Gunmetal is a little darker,
Yeah.
kind of a charcoal gray.
Oh, so you want this brighter? Okay.
The bright silver was my second choice.
So, leather?
Yes. Well, actually, it's not leather.
Really?
It's faux leather.
Faux leather?
Yeah.
Heated?
Yes.
Wait, they give you
Heated steering wheel?
Yes.
Nice.
that as an option. I'm insulted. The XLT in my truck, you can't get leather until you get to a limited
Well,
on the.
I mean, it's not real leather.
I know.
Wait,
Regardless,
wait.
you're only
Go
giving
back.
off on the
Go-
250.
Go
Yeah.
back.
What?
Say that again.
A Lariat or limited?
XL.
You can get them in a Lariat.
Yeah, you can.
You can't. You
It
can't
goes
get them in
XL,
the XLT.
XLT, and then it goes limited or whatever. But after you can't get an XLT or XL, you can't get leather in.
Right.
Can't even option.
Right.
You get it from the dealership will do it, but it's not from factory that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that means you have the blue one, which means Jeremy has the blue F250, so he has to get the white one because I'm not getting rid of. So
I'm
getting,
not getting.
Oh,
it
the
wrong.
Bronco?
Okay, I'm getting the red Bronco.
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
No.
I'll get the red one.
Do they have a bright red one?
They have a bright race
Oh,
red
yeah,
one.
you should get that.
I've always wanted because you see how my truck is. It's a bright race red
Yeah.
with the blackout things. They make the exact same thing in a Bronco.
Yeah.
4-door, black grill.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I want.
Get it.
Yeah, black top.
Which trim do you want?
It's like the second one up. It's not Bigfoot or Badlands, one of the two.
Badlands. The other one's Black Diamond or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, there's a Black Diamond, Badlands. I'm drawing a blank on there's another one in there. It's like they even have one with the snorkel.
Yeah,
you know
I
that?
definitely would want to get that on there.
No.
Yeah, why
Get
not?
outta here.
Why would you not?
Why
Would you need it?
Because I would actually
never?
use it.
No, you wouldn't. Shut up.
What?
You would not.
I would definitely. Okay, I would not go every day, and I would not go too extreme. But I would be like, okay, there's an obstacle. Let's go through it. As long as someone's there to rescue me.
How deep are you
hilarious.
going into water?
And the tires are what, 36 inches,
35s.
35.
Yeah.
Okay, the snorkels are up above the cab, right?
Yeah. So okay, so what then? 80 inches.
Okay. Those things are not waterproof.
Okay, but
Water will seep into the interior of that thing.
Oh, yeah, for
Do you
sure.
still want to submerge it?
that's why you
Big
can
Bend
take-
is the other
You
one.
can take the doors off, and they have drain holes on the front and back.
No.
Yeah, you can take.
And
I know you can, but you're not
And-
going to do that with a brand new rig. Get out of here.
and
Fuck no. No.
every
Get
body
You would be
panel,
so anal about it. There's no way.
every body panel on those trucks are held together with Allen bolts. They made it so if a
I don't
quarter
care. I'm
panel
not
or
fucking
anything is
sinking my
broken,
goddamn
you
brand
can
new
unbolt it,
Bronco.
go to the dealership and put a brand new exact panel to match it on there. They made it so they were like actually modular.
You really want to dip all your electronics?
He won't.
No,
Yeah.
whatever. I want to have a bright red race car Liger next to a bright red F250
I'm all.
Clifford
I'm not.
next to a bright red Bronco, and
I'm
I
not
still don't
getting
have a name for the Bronco.
I'm
Probably be.
I'm looking at
it'd
something
probably
totally
be-
different right
it'd
now,
probably
by
be
the way.
Big Mac.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you'd name it?
I name it like Big Macintosh, like after that pony guy that's red. So I'd have 3 cars all red that have names.
I'm looking for your red Bronco. Anyway, the other one was Big Bend.
It's in race red. That's the one you're looking for.
And so, anyway. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
stoked with it.
Nice.
I really like it.
That's awesome,
awesome.
dude.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Did you get it for, if I could say, did you get it for a reasonable price?
No.
No? Okay.
I paid full retail.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I got whatever dealer incentives they had at the time, that was like maybe 6,000 total off, you know, with a dealer and factory incentives that they had. Whatever. Dealerships aren't as willing to bend on price as they used to be. It just doesn't happen.
No, they don't.
They will pretty much tell you to pound sand.
Yeah, Dodge is about the only one that will. And you have to go places to get them.
Oh, yeah, you got to go to Idaho. Yeah, there you go. What model is that?
I don't know.
See, that's
red.
a good looking rig.
Wild
red.
Track.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But blacked out grill, blacked out rims, blacked out top.
When are you going to pick it up?
Jeremy, can I borrow some money?
No.
Okay, then I got to go buy one now.
Yeah.
No. If you're buying a house, you don't want to buy a truck right now.
No, you don't. You got to wait. Gotta wait.
You guys can't stop me from buying multiple things.
No.
Yeah, actually no, we can't, but
the bank will.
Bank will.
That's true on that one.
The bank's like, they always tell you if you're buying a house, do not go buy a car.
So
do
why-
not go
why
do
is
this.
that?
I've made that
It's
mistake.
credit history. It's credit stuff.
Okay,
and then
you're
you don't
still over
do-
my head. Well,
You don't do multiple big purchases at the same time
Yeah.
and get financed for them.
okay, but it's fine to go buy and then buy cash for all of it. You buy a house cash.
I
buy,
wouldn't do that. I mean,
buy
yes,
a
if you're
truck cash.
if you're buying everything in cash, yeah, no big deal.
Okay, but
So
if you have
that's
any,
fine.
if you have any,
if you're financing your house, though,
Most of the normal people
what they're going to look at is
don't
for
have
yourself.
money like that.
right, exactly. What they're going to look at is how much debt to income ratio is.
okay,
So if you're making if you're making payment on cars,
yeah,
especially a new payment,
okay,
that drives your ratio down, and that's not good.
Okay.
You've got to, I don't know exactly I think it's 30% or something, that your house payment can't be more than 30% of your income.
does student loans deal with that too? So you wouldn't
Yes.
recommend going into school or going in debt because of that?
It does play into it.
Okay,
Yeah. But I mean, if you're already in school, it's better than going out and making a big purchase at the same time you're buying a house.
yeah, interesting.
So I did.
Even if you're
something
paying
stupid.
cash, if you're financing your house but paying cash for a vehicle,
Okay.
I would wait.
Would it
Yeah.
be better to have your significant other than go on that?
No.
Or is,
No.
No.
So I did something stupid when we bought this house.
Okay, you met Grant.
No.
That was after.
I had a vehicle and I wanted a different vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew I couldn't buy anything until after the house closed.
Right.
So I sold what I was driving just before we closed on the house, like 2 weeks. And I was planning on buying a vehicle right after we sold or we closed.
Yeah.
So that's how the Porsche came in here?
No. That actually threw a monkey wrench into buying the house.
Really?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
What did
You
they?
tell.
They
what was their
questioned.
reasoning?
They questioned
Why'd you
it.
sell your car?
Yep.
Sell.
Wait, even if you sell your car,
That's
bank
Yes,
interesting.
they'll look at it. It's part of your change. It's a change. It's a big financial change to your debt to income
Wow,
when you're making a big purchase.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
They also look at it if you're financing your house. They actually look at your deposit history at your bank. So if you make a really big deposit,
Yeah.
like a relative or somebody gives you money, where did this $80,000 deposit come from? Why is that there? Do you have to repay that? They'll ask all these questions. And sometimes even if you answer it quote unquote correctly,
yeah,
they'll be like, no, something's fishy.
Something's fishy.
Yeah.
interesting.
We don't
And
want
they'll deny the financing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting.
But if you're paying cash for everything, do your thing. Go for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go.
Yeah,
Bought a new rig. I like it a lot.
nice.
Yeah.
What's the name?
Bluey?
I think
Like
there's
after the
already a
cartoon
Bluey.
dog?
No, after
Or
Chad
they-
C10. I don't know. It's blue.
Okay.
Azure gray. I think azure means blue, doesn't it?
I-
Is that?
Okay, Google, what does azure mean?
Checking that for you now.
Azure bright blue in color like a cloudlet.
Sweet.
Wow.
Bright blue in color.
Azure gray. So bright blue gray.
Right on.
It's not really bright. It's more of a flat, muted
You know what it is?
blue.
You know what it is?
Blue.
It's good looking.
It is good looking.
There you go.
I think it's pretty sweet.
There you go.
Nice.
All right. Anyway, enough of that. Project cars?
Here we go. Jeremy, you sent me like
I did.
5.
I sent 3.
You said 5.
I sent 3.
Wow.
I know.
I'll start.
Oh, okay, then Jeremy's not starting. Okay.
1977 white Pontiac Firebird Trans Am
Oh, shit.
with the screaming chicken on the hood.
Really?
Yeah,
How much?
$9,000.
That's not bad. Good
it's-
shape?
Yeah, looks like it's in really good shape. It's got like the polished aluminum dash
Okay.
gauge cluster. It's kind of cool. Looks like it's got, well, the odometer says 13,848, but I'm guessing that's rolled over. Let's see if it says in the description.
I guess I did send
It says that the 13,848 is original miles. I find it hard to believe for $9,000. Interior looks like a 1977 car. It's a little bit worn, more than 13,000 miles worn, I'll say. The interior is blue. Look at this.
Okay.
I know listeners can't see it, but here it is.
That's a good looking interior.
It doesn't look bad.
Yeah, it
Wait
just
a
needs
minute.
a little bit of dust wiped off.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
What?
I'm not joking. That dash, I never actually saw one until right now.
Oh, really?
That's almost identical to a Countach dash.
It's almost
The
identical
same
to
color and the same layout.
Camaro. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see. What else about the car? Yeah, the door cards are a little bit rough. There's some rips on the driver's seat. Looks like the passenger seat might be broken. I'm maybe calling bullshit on the 13,000 mile on the odometer.
Yeah.
That seems awfully low
It does.
for a $9,000 car.
Exactly. Dash pad is cracked. So this thing needs some love, but seriously, for $9,000, it's got the 6.6 liter motor. Anyone? Bueller?
6.6 liter motor.
Yeah.
That only makes like 140 horses.
Whatever, bro.
250.
Who knows? From 77? Yeah, probably. 6.6 liter is what, a 390? Is that right?
6, yeah, something like the.
Is that right?
Uh,
Or 427?
It'd be a Chevy,
not a
right? It's a
427.
GM.
Okay.
Well, it's a Pontiac. Anyway, 6.6 liter. It's probably in the 300 whatever range
Yeah.
of horsepower. Automatic transmission. It says it runs and drives, so that's a big plus. I honestly think $9,000 is a good deal.
That's really good.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
car is fixable.
Okay.
It runs already. You could drive it and fix it while you're playing with it. I think this is a great car. Yeah, the white and blue with the screaming chicken on the hood. Pretty badass.
Nice.
It is available in Boise, Idaho.
Nice.
It's only been listed for a week, so this car might actually sell. Now, anybody down south that wants this car, shipping's only like $1,000.
Yeah, for
Totally
sure.
worth it.
I'm debating if I should share this. One of my friends sent me this, and I think.
Is this the Dodge Viper you just sent me? Oh, sorry. Oh, I just blew it out.
I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this or not, but
Okay.
I guess we should.
It's on Marketplace. Heck yeah.
There's a 2005 SRT10 Dodge Viper, not wrecked, to my knowledge on this one says.
Isn't this the one we covered last week?
No, because that one you covered was a 94.
Oh.
This is a 2005 for $30,000.
That's not bad.
That's,
How many miles?
2 days
that's
ago.
the thing. That's the thing.
It's got 100,000.
It's got 140,000 miles on it, 55,000 miles.
So what?
I will tell you this,
155?
for
This one's better looking than the one
for a Dodge
Saw last
Viper
week.
with the V10 in there at 500 horsepower for this generation. I have never seen one this low with a clean title. If it's wrecked title, I could imagine it, but no, it's
But
got
it's got
it's got a wing
155,000.
on the back of it.
okay.
It's got an actual wing on it. It's got looks like Gen
it doesn't.
4. Yeah, it's got a wing on the back.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, look right here. You see that wing?
Look right there.
Well, it might be a before picture.
No wing.
Well, okay, it may or may not have a wing.
Maybe
Yeah.
the wing flew off.
You know, maybe. It's got Gen 4 Viper wheels, it looks like. I'm probably going to be told otherwise. I'm not sure. And it's not a beauty queen. It's definitely something that has some scratches on it, but not like actually dented up. Black on black, I guess at $30,000 is what they're asked for, and it's in Everett, Washington.
Yep.
That's not bad.
Whoever buys that,
No,
it's
that's
not
pretty
going to
good.
be a show car. It's not going to be a car
Is
that
that
you're-
John's car?
Not.
No.
No.
That car, though, I will say for anyone who's looking into track driving or into autocross,
Oh, that'd be a fun
that's a
car.
hard car to beat. I think.
Send that to Ian. He just bought a freaking house.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to buy a car. We just covered this.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully the new house got a bigger garage.
Yeah.
He's looking for one, so send it to him. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I got one.
Let's hear it.
Do it.
This says barn find.
Okay.
In quotes.
Quote.
Okay.
Barn find.
1989 Mustang 5-speed LX hatchback.
LX.
really
LX. It's not a GT. It's
Yep.
an LX.
Gotcha.
What's the difference?
Trim level.
Yeah, it's the interior
Okay.
and maybe some looks. It's a good looking car. Very clean on the interior. Very clean on the exterior. A couple scratches.
It looks like it's got some rust over by the suspension strut tower bounce.
I don't see rust.
If he's on the first page,
Maybe a little.
yeah.
Maybe a little.
So possibly. But it is very clean on the
It's
outside.
very clean. Good looking car. I was impressed by the price. $6,400.
Okay.
It looks like it says it runs in the top, but if you get down to the bottom, it says bring a trailer. Priced as is, bring a trailer.
Maybe they said .com. They forgot to put the.
They were trying to list it on Bring a Trailer and they messed it up.
But that's impressive. It's got a 5-speed and the 5.0 into it, and it's a fastback. That's a huge.
5-speed was the overdrive back then.
Yeah, no, that's a
Yep.
sweet looking car. I honestly, Jeremy, I don't think you can find a 5.0 that clean with all that together for that cheap. I bet a person could walk away with that for $6,000 easy.
Yeah.
Maybe even
Oh yeah. I bet you could offer $6,000 and have this car, and it'd be a really good, a
anything,
really good starter track car.
either track car. I think it'd be just a good show car.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Put a
it's
little
very
effort
clean.
into it. Yeah.
Seats aren't ripped. It doesn't look like it. All the interior's there. Yeah, good fun.
Okay, I found something for Grant.
Me?
Yes.
Another one? How many dinosaurs are on it?
Okay. This one is only $1,000,
Okay,
located in Eugene, Oregon.
okay.
It's a 2-post car lift.
There you go.
It's not a car.
No, but
It's car related.
it is car related.
That's
and it's a 2-post car lift for $1,000.
Okay.
That's a good price.
That's a great
That's
price.
a really good price.
Yes.
Where was this car at?
It's in Eugene.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
the Mustang was in Portland, by the way.
Oh, okay.
So if we need to go get this weekend, I will go down there with you.
Okay.
Sorry,
Send me
listener.
that.
I'm trying to make a
I'll
deal.
go with you too.
All right. Oh, you want me to send it to you?
Yeah, send it to him. He needs it.
I know he does.
He needs to go right where the Lambo is.
I thought we put.
Lord.
Hang on. It's a little ear.
What do you?
He's digging in his ear. What are we doing?
He had
over
a
here?
bug crawl in there or
I
something.
thought this
Jesus.
segment was for everyone else to buy stuff.
It
not
is.
For Grant to buy
It
more
is.
stuff.
But I saw that and I was like,
The listeners
You need
will,
it so bad.
Listeners would love to hear that you did something good
yeah,
in your shop.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh.
Do you have
And
something?
honestly-
or am I going?
Honestly, listeners,
No,
if you need
get outta here.
a car lift, you could buy that and put it in my house.
This is not all about video games.
It's a Lost
cars.
World one.
Oh, okay. I take it back. I don't want that in my house. Okay, I did find one actually. 1968 Chevy El Camino. Jeez, paint actually looks pretty good. Looks to be a runner. It's two-tone paint, blue over white with black rally stripes. That's a little bit weird, but maybe that lower half is silver, not white. But I can't really tell. 100, got to be 112,000 miles. It says driven 12,588. Get out of here with that. It's not real.
What?
There's no way a 1968 El Camino only has 12,000 miles on it.
No.
Wow.
Unless it got parked in a barn and forgot about.
It is an automatic. The interior does look decent. It's black.
I think they forgot.
There might be a couple of rips on that driver's seat. It is located in Toledo, Oregon. Darn it, I was trying to get out of Oregon so some other people had an idea stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, for $6,500, a runner, again, not bad. I mean, if
You
you
might-
like El Caminos, this thing doesn't really need any work.
You might have to
drivable.
put your
I got to change my location.
put it to like Texas.
I'll work on that. Okay, you go
Florida.
ahead.
Okay,
Jeremy, let's hear the next one.
So, have you ever heard of an Austin Gypsy?
Yes.
There's 2 of them for sale
Okay.
in Canby, Oregon.
Okay.
They look to me a lot like the 1960s or 70s Land Rovers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of work. They look fairly complete, maybe missing seats, stuff like that. Both projects, neither one of them run. A lot of parts are there. $4,400 for the pair of them.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Serious project, though.
Yeah,
A lot to put together.
Serious project.
Okay.
Okay.
Like lot of there's paintwork. One of them looks like maybe it's been prepped for paint. Interior and exterior is mostly ripped apart, but it looks like it's ready for paint and ready to go back together.
Okay. What are the particulars? Where's it at?
This one is in Canby, Oregon.
Oh, you did say
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I've got one. This is my last one I've got for the night.
Okay.
Leg.
1959 Vespa 400. I sent it on the group chat so you guys can see it. It is a bright blue, well, light blue, I should say, 2-seater car from Vespa. Which, isn't that a motorcycle company?
Vespa is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Scooters.
interesting. It is a project. It is a lot of it's there. It does not come with a top, rear brake lights, or interior door cards, but it looks like it comes with everything else. It does come with an extra motor, tranny, muffler, and spare parts, and it does have windshield glass on it. And on something that old and rare, that's actually kind of nice to have. It's been painted, looks like it, so a lot of the work has been done on for body wise. So it's now just finding extra little bits and pieces in there. The motor, one of the motors is already in it too. So that's another huge thing onto that. They recommend starting it because it hasn't been driven for a while. And it's been upgraded with a new electronic ignition system. So they want $6,000 for it. I don't know if that's a good deal or not. But this is a very clean car, something I haven't seen before. And looks like for those who want to take on a more challenging project, probably it. Like I said, no top on it. You could see it's kind of like the older Fiats where it would have had a leather top going that way. Do you guys know about why a lot of cars from Italy in the 50s did that with a lot of convertibles?
They liked convertibles. They like to drive around in the
Isn't it warm
sunshine.
Steel shortage.
Oh, really?
So that was one reason like the Fiats and stuff would do it because they would, less steel to make a whole coupe. So
sure.
they would
No, that makes
do
sense.
that way.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So that is in Bellingham, Washington.
Bellingham.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you say you found one?
I have one
Jeremy?
more. Yeah.
Okay.
I have 2 more. I'm only going to talk about one because I want
Save the
to
next
talk
one
to
next
my
week.
wife about the other one.
I'm right here, okay?
Bronco.
So I think last week I had talked about 3 rigs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what I'm going to do in this segment every week is have at least one tow vehicle.
Okay.
Okay. That's smart.
I found a 1992 Ford Semi. It's an N8F L800. It looks like it's in really good shape. It's a runner.
That's always a plus.
It has, I think the dash said 200 and something thousand miles.
258,927.6 miles.
Point six.
0.6.
Did you get the picture
So,
of the odometer?
yeah. There is a picture. It looks like it's in really good shape.
Yep.
It's a runner. It's 7-speed manual transmission, newer tires, heat blows hot. Everything works. This thing would be a really good tow vehicle to get you to the track.
So you say that.
Really good.
What are you towing with that? Like,
You could tow a stacker.
well, that's what I'm saying. Is like,
your trailer is what, 44 footer?
yeah.
It would tow that like a dream.
Oh, I'm sure.
I,
At 3 miles a gallon?
Jeremy,
Maybe
Yeah.
4, 5,
Maybe 4.
you know we have one of these.
I know.
Okay.
Oh, do you have one?
Yeah, our company has.
Not this one.
Yeah, well, not
Let me
this
see the picture
one.
of it.
Actually, ours is an L9000, so a little bit bigger, but the same thing essentially.
Is it a single cab?
Single cab, yeah. Right here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You're not getting much mileage on that, but yeah, you could tow a stacker. That would be awesome.
I will say this, for comfortability, not the most comfortable truck, but
Exactly.
for reliability,
Yeah.
and for ones that will just go, those trucks are.
Is
That's a
it pretty
great-
low geared? Like, what are you going to do on the freeway?
I don't know. You should,
Will it pull the speed limit?
actually,
no problem.
this one.
Yeah, I think you'll pull
The
6.
difference on this one versus ours, this has a 7-speed, where ours has, I think, a 10 speed,
Yeah.
high and low gear. Yeah, I don't know. Like with ours with the 10-speed, like first 3 gears are pretty low geared onto that.
Yeah.
But I mean, ours pulls 80,000 pounds. Again, it's an actual semi truck.
So,
It'll do it.
Yeah.
Now
yeah.
tell me it wouldn't look fucking awesome pulling into the track.
I will say it
It
looks
looks good.
you know?
It's a good looking truck.
It's
no
also
doubt.
red.
It's red.
It's
It is
red.
It's red.
And you know me, Jeremy. I like red things.
I know. I know.
It would pull your red trailer.
Pull my red trailer
You'd
with
need
the
a bigger
red truck
red
on
trailer.
top of it with the red Mustang in it and
need
the
a-
red Bronco behind it.
You'd need a stacker.
Yeah, you need a bigger red
Need
trailer.
a bigger red trailer.
with
Yeah.
a shitter and a shower.
All right. It took me a while, but I found another project car.
Real fast, Jeremy,
Oh.
will you say where this one's at?
Camas, Washington.
Okay. Thank you.
Good call.
On Facebook Marketplace.
This particular project car is bad. It needs a lot of work,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it's cheap.
Okay.
1975 Camaro.
Okay.
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 I believe it's Z28 trim.
Ooh.
Let me look at that again.
Problem is, it's right at 75. You got to make it smog emissions.
Not if you
Ooh, that's a Transformers
put, not
car.
if you put an
It's
LS
not
in
a
it.
bad, not a bad looking car.
No, actually, the exterior looks pretty decent. Doesn't seem to be a lot of damage on it that I can see. It does have a replaced trunk lid, but it's replaced. I can't tell what the trim around the glass looks like. That's
For our
usually-
listeners, it's
That's where
also,
the rust forms.
for our listeners, it's also bright yellow.
Bright yellow.
Bumblebee.
Yeah, but it is a project car, and there is a earlier '70s Camaro sitting right next to it in the pictures. Anyway, $1,100, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Dang.
Automatic transmission. It says, what is it? It has a 79 front end on a 75. No engine, no tranny. So it's just a body for $1,100. The interior is thrashed.
Yeah.
Expect entirely new interior.
Yeah.
The dash is thrashed. The windshield is broken. Yeah, all right. Maybe not. Maybe this is
So
not
you're
the car.
telling me.
Let me ask a
For a
question.
body for $1,100.
Hang on. Hang on.
Does New Mexico,
It's dry.
Yeah.
it's dry.
Yeah.
It snows in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there when it snowed and when it was icy.
Okay.
Do they use salt?
Salt? I don't think so. I don't know that for sure. There's
I
not a
don't
lot of
remember.
places that do anymore, but back then, maybe.
Maybe.
I just want to put this into perspective. I could either go get a useful, very reliable, what needs to be in my shop lift for $1,000, or you're telling me for an extra $100 more,
Yeah.
I could drive all the way to New Mexico
Yeah.
and come back with a freaking Autobot in my shop.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah, you would too.
You've already got 2 video games taking up too much space in your shop. I'm not talking to you until those are at your house.
It's not the best find, okay? It's not the best.
It will make someone
but-
happy though. Someone's gonna throw an LS motor into
They're
it.
not
Like that.
super
could,
common
yeah.
anymore.
No.
Camaros? No,
yeah,
they are
yeah.
getting more rare.
And if you want a project to build, that's probably not a bad place to start.
Yeah, I mean it's just straight up body, no motor, no transmission. So you're looking at putting an LS in it anyway, and probably a nice T56 or maybe a 6060.
Does anyone put a 350 in cars anymore? Honestly,
No, you could.
I mean, if
super
it
cheap.
had
Yeah.
one,
You could do it super cheap. Super cheap.
I remember back in the day, everyone would talk about a 350 and how you could build them up and they still cost nothing.
Yeah, a 400. You could even put a 400 in it, right? And just...
So, God, 10 years ago...
You could make it thump pretty good with a cam. And
you don't need a lot of horsepower in cars.
No.
Maybe 300,
just
400 horses.
Just to be a fun driver, you could totally do that.
I would love to look this up. I'm going to have to do this week.
Okay.
So 10 years, probably 20 years ago, I was looking at rebuild kits for different motors.
Okay.
And for a Chev 350 at the time, you could buy a rebuild kit, including the crankshaft, connecting rods, pistons, gaskets, and camshaft. You could get for $150.
Oh my God.
Okay, but with inflation,
those are high-end parts.
Right.
$250 now.
Yeah.
Right?
I think they were bone stock factory.
Wow.
See, that's
For
what I
that
want
year.
to take and put in the back of my Nissan pickup.
Right.
I want to put that in the bed with a little transaxle.
Wait, do you have a Nissan pickup too? When did you buy more stuff? He bought
I don't think
2
it's that he
cars.
bought it. It's been sitting there.
It's sitting in somebody else's yard. I haven't paid for it yet.
You're.
Oh, shit.
Are you serious?
No.
Oh, come on.
I mean, yes, I'm serious, but that's just another project in the back of my mind.
He needs a shop runner. He needs a parts runner.
Yeah. But it's going to have a motor in the bed, so
Yeah.
I have to put the parts in the front.
He's
in the
only
front.
going for small parts.
Yeah. I'll have to,
on a really, really side note, I would love to see a mini truck like that with like a 454 Chevy with zoomy pipes on the back in the bed.
What's that one?
I found an F40.
We need it. I need it. Yes.
Actually, a decent looking kit car.
Where is it? Did you put in the group chat?
No.
No.
It's in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Need that, Rob.
There we go.
We can get an Autobot and an Italian
It
supercar.
is the typical Pontiac Fiero F40 replica.
Okay.
Even
Does
better.
it run?
Yeah, it's done.
Oh my God.
It's a
Grant,
finished-
it runs.
It's a finished kit.
It
Wow.
And besides the dual pop-up headlights that look pretty bad.
Oh, it's still dope.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Not terrible.
But
The wheels.
it's decent. Oh God, the interior actually looks good.
Let me see.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah,
How much do they want for it?
$12,000.
So we're going to go pick up an Autobot, and we're going to pick up an Italian car. Jeremy, you need to get one, and then we can make a
No.
whole show out of it.
No.
Jeremy, you should buy this one.
Actually, yeah, you should.
The F40?
Yeah.
I already have my eyes set on a car.
Yeah. And I'll buy that, and then we'll all just have each other's cars we want.
I already blew my wad on a Bronco, unfortunately.
I know.
F40 is a dream car, but this would not quite handle the same for me.
No.
It would
wouldn't be
drive
the same.
the exact same.
The exact same. I don't think it would.
I can tell you that is not going to do the same thing the Sequoia I want.
No, it'll catch eyes. though.
Sequoia, go big.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right.
I need
Well,
something for Alaska.
Can I say the coolest
Okay,
thing I saw
that's
this
fair.
week? Could we move on to that
You
segment?
can.
Okay. Really short.
Hey, it does have a V8 in it, though.
Damn.
That's got a V8 in
Yeah.
it? Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I didn't read the
That's-
description. Sorry about that. It
Finish
is-
that up before we get into the coolest.
Yeah, it is an automatic. 100,000 miles, tan interior. It's well done for a kit car. It's well done. All right, it is built in 2020. It's got a 350. There you go. We were
we
just
go.
talking about 350s.
There you go.
It's
Wow.
just your standard small block 350.
Oh, yeah.
4-bolt main, aggressive cam with a 4L60E automatic transmission. Let's see, anything crazy? Oh, it's got electric doors. Woo!
Wow. Someone put a lot of money and time into that.
Actually, they did. It's a very good-looking replica car.
if
I
one of
mean,
our listeners,
if it goes down the road at the right speed, you would think you saw an F40.
if one of our listeners buy that, please
With the headlights
tell us
down.
that you bought that. I would love to know more about this car.
It's a good-looking car, and honestly, the interior is surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Does it look like Ferrari or
Can I see that real fast? Let me see. I can tell you if it's a
no,
see.
not really. It's very Fiero-esque, but it's nice and clean.
Jesus. Don't throw his tablet.
Yeah, well,
cancel.
what do you think?
I think. Wow, they really did a good job on that one.
Yeah.
No, honestly.
For $12,000,
Yeah.
a replica F40. That's not bad.
Yeah, because
Nice.
there is definitely some Fiero parts
Yeah.
that you could see there.
Yep.
But the dash was done really well. It's got an actual Ferrari steering wheel in the center. They've got Ferrari mats onto it. The seats, I feel like those are and the interior, I feel like, comes from the GT Fieros.
Okay.
What year? Does it say what year it's based off of?
86.
Okay, so that's the big thing.
Yeah.
So for our listeners out there, because I've done our research, 85, 6, and 7 were the normal Fieros.
Okay.
88 was the special one where they completely redid the suspension on that. Mm-hmm. The 88 is, if you find a kit car based off of that, that's a suspension that is supposed to be, quote-unquote, handle as good as like a Ferrari or Lotus, so it's been claimed.
Interesting.
So, whereas the other ones are more like an economy car.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to know how that car actually drives if it's an 86. Like, it probably looks cool, but I don't know how hard it would take to swap over from an 88 stuff over to it.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But
where's that? How much do you want?
It is Albuquerque, New Mexico, $12,000. Listed 8 weeks ago, so it's been on there a little bit.
Okay.
That would be, if I were close, I'd go look at it. I'd be like, damn, that's kind of cool.
We should find out where a replica show's at. That'd be fun to go to.
Is there a replica show?
I know, we should find one and go to it though.
All right.
You know what I mean?
We've got some calendar stuff to discuss
Oh yes.
over the next week or so, or two.
All right.
3 or something.
Coolest thing.
Okay. Coolest thing. Do
Okay.
it.
So I found on a Facebook post, and it's on our group chat if you guys can see it, and the screenshot's like 3 posts back on there. Alfa Romeo Sigaria, is that how you say it? I've never seen this before. 1997 presented the world with the latest idea for supercar, designed by Guigaro. I'm very bad with names of you.
Wow.
So
No, I can't find the post, so good. You're on your own.
It's here, Rob. You're better at words than I am.
Okay.
Yes.
I got an idea.
This is a 97 Alfa Romeo presented the world with their latest idea for a supercar. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Guigiaro.
Jeremy, you want to give it a try?
Nope.
Guigiaro.
As the listeners and so you guys know, I'm a big fan of supercars, and this is a supercar I've never heard about.
Road legal race car.
It's 0 to
Formula 1
60
cars, based on a 164 borrowed from four-wheel drive system.
Yeah,
It's a V6.
yeah, but it has all-wheel drive. The 0 to 60s, what did it say on there?
410 horsepower, 0 to 6 and 3.7.
Which is impressive for 97.
For 1997, it is.
The only other car I can think that would touch that would be an F50.
You know, it's
3.7 seconds.
It's Bugatti-esque, like
Yeah.
EB110. It looks like an
It's
EB110.
very wide, like one. Mm-hmm. You know.
Well, the front shape and the cockpit kind of look that way. It's honestly kind of ugly, but
it's different though.
it's different. It's very different.
Yeah, and then here's the interior and the back of it. The back looks something like a Volvo. Interior is actually not bad.
Yeah, no, the interior seems okay.
So the reason I brought up was it's not always about the newest, flashiest thing.
Right.
This is something I've never seen before, and I thought that was the coolest thing because it might have been someone I've already seen it before, but for me that was like, and this is why we bring up cars that should be in museums so people could see stuff like this.
Well, yeah, no, you're right. There's so many cars out there like that I'd never heard of that, never seen it. I mean, it's one of a kind, right?
Yeah, that's cool.
Is that the only one that was ever made?
I didn't look too much into that. I will look it up real fast.
I do think that is interesting, though. You stumble upon, even still, we've been car people forever. Even still, we run across stuff that I had no idea. Never seen that before. That's kind of neat.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking into it. Functional, specification designs, production. There we go. Sorry, someone talk while I'm reading because I cannot multitask.
I'm not talking until it's my turn.
Oh, well, how dare you?
Wow. Tell them how it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not my turn yet. I'm not going.
Be better prepared.
I refuse. I asked him a question he didn't know the answer to.
I know.
We have...
Maybe we should move on.
Let's move on. He'll come back to it.
Yeah. No, I can't. It doesn't say on it, but wow, it was made of... The frame and structure is made of aluminum composite or carbon fiber composite. Okay. So it was a blend on that one.
Yeah.
All-wheel drive system, like you said on that one. And the interior was done by Colony Leather Upholstery.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, carbon fiber, aluminum, especially in 97, that was some high-tech shit.
And that was for the structure, because it says it has all aluminum body.
Oh, yeah.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Go ahead.
Okay. So I sent a video to everybody on Instagram
Okay.
a couple days ago.
Yep.
I found a Lincoln Town Car that was coyote swapped.
Oh, really? Wait a minute. Hold on. Now, doesn't a Lincoln stock come with a really big freaking motor?
Which
Like
Some
a
of them,
505
yeah.
or something?
Some
are you
of
talking
them,
about
yes.
like a '66 Lincoln Town Car?
Big
The
Lincoln,
old ones do.
Yeah,
yeah.
This is more like
Oh, it's a newer one.
90s?
Oh, okay.
It's got a 10-speed automatic.
All right.
Coyote swapped. It's really clean looking.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I am really into the sleeper
cars. Sleepers are cool, but I mean, I waffle on that. I'm gonna waffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
was
car,
just
it's
like,
a big heavy car, but it's
it is.
pretty quick.
I can appreciate the quick, but if I'm in a big Lincoln Town Car, whether it's a newer one or an older one or a Cadillac, well, Cadillac's kind of gone off the rails with their CTSVs and all that. They're building sports cars.
Yeah, it might as well be a Corvette.
Right.
Yeah.
But like the older stuff, if I'm going to get in one of those, I just want it to float down the road.
Yeah.
Nice and quiet. I just want it I don't need it to be a sleeper, I
Yeah.
guess, is my point.
I like sleepers, and I would say that with Astra because every car I own is a big, flashy, in-your-face car.
Yeah.
But no, I do because you know me. I like to build cars to factory spec or what they could have built. So I do like the fact you could build a car that's like factory with 1,000 horsepower under a hood. As long as it's usable. If it's something you push your foot down and just spins the tires, I'm like, it's not really. That's the point.
It's got a neat factor, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get it though. Like if you're in this big floating car, big floater, and you're just cruising along, but you mash the pedal. But you mash the pedal and the thing's friggin' gone. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I get
Or you
that.
mash the pedal and then you just hear brum, 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 and then just the diff goes.
Yeah, it could happen.
Oh.
So anyway, it's got a Coyote, and does it say what kind of horsepower it's making? Or
I think it said 1,000 horsepower.
oh shit,
It's got a turbo in it then.
that's a lot of horsepower, but that's a big car too.
Yeah.
Probably
Big car.
5,000 pound curb weight.
No.
What?
This one's got to be at least
Yours
as much
weighs
as your
45.
No,
This has
mine
got to
weighs
be
4. With
This
me
has
in
got to
it.
be at least as much as your Mustang.
I bet it's more.
I'm looking it up real fast.
I'll bet it's more.
I don't know what year this thing is either. It's pretty dope though.
Like 90 something.
I was gonna say late 90s, but it could be 2000s.
All right, here we go.
Yeah,
What's your guys' guess? I'll tell you right now.
5,000.
4,500.
Okay. Let's say it's an 88 model, okay?
Okay.
That's
No,
a two-door or
it's
four-door?
way newer than that.
Again,
This one.
two-door or four-door? I'll tell you right now. I got a whole list of them.
Four-door.
Okay.
Four-door.
It's a four-door? Okay. So let's just go down the line.
All right.
If it was an
I don't need
88,
to go down the line. Just give me
88
a rough
was
estimate.
4,000 pounds. If it was a 2000, 4,000 pounds. If it was a 1999, 4,000 pounds.
You might as well be racing a freaking Lincoln.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your Liger's heavier than that.
It's 3,950 pounds with me in it without McDonald's.
Without McDonald's.
Yeah.
It is 4,000 pounds with McDonald's.
100%. It's McDonald's all the way with a package of Oreos.
Always Oreos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, heavy car. I did see, and I didn't bring it up in our project cars, a couple of the older 60s Lincolns for sale. Yeah. Really cool cars. Really cool.
Need to put that in the garage for the projects that I need to get to eventually.
I need a bigger garage.
Yes.
Because that one's just a cruiser driver. I just want to park it over on the side, just take it out when it's sunny, and I don't want to have to work on
That's going to be when we get all four of us in there and play the Entourage theme song and just go, oh, yeah.
it. I don't know the Entourage.
Really?
theme
I'll
song,
play
but-
it for you one of these days. But anyways, that's the perfect car to go out with the guys.
Oh, yeah, it's such
Just
a cruiser.
friends.
Just
you know,
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it for today, yo.
Woo!
Thank you, Tom Suddard, for being on the show.
Yay.
Really appreciate it. Grassroots Motorsports. Look him up. He's got some great content. Both, I believe he has some YouTube stuff. Or
Yep.
Grassroots Motorsports does. Subscribe to his magazine. Why not? You're a
I'll-
project car guy. Do it.
I'll be looking for it the next time I'm at Safeway.
I wonder if it's there.
I'm going to look.
Yeah,
I walk by the magazine section every time I'm in.
sure.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, yep. Thanks for being on the show. Really appreciate it. Everybody,
give us a follow.
Give us a follow on all the things.
On the Instagram.
On the face and the Instagram and on the
Untitled Car
podcast.
Instaface.
On the podcast.
And email us if you got questions.
And maybe share it with a friend or two. That'd be kind of cool.
Or
Hit the
5 or
like
100.
button. 4-star.
Everybody shared it
Give
with
us a 10 out of 10.
people. Be amazing. All right. Anyway,
All right.
thanks everybody.
Send
See you
an email.
next time.
All right, later.